your teams. The heart of Minnesota. Valley Sports North. The heart of the fan.
And here a chance, and lately it's been a rare chance, to win a championship on the field. And then the celebration will start.
Absolutely. Nothing better than that. That's the greatest feeling you have, is celebrating with your teammates, and that's what we got to look forward to the rest of the night. Hopefully we get to that point late in this ball game.
Upstairs for strike three. Got it. Nice stop. Diving to his left. Farmer flips to second. And Taylor delivers the first run-scoring hit. A drive right field.
That's the excitement this big crowd is waiting for.
Slap to right, a base hit. Polanco to the second. A championship return to Twins territory.
I was like, please, just hit me the ball to me. I want to end this play. I want to end the game. Just went for it, and it was awesome, man. Kind of black on it.
Get the finals ready, okay? We talked about it in spring training. We followed through on what we said we were going to do. We said it. We did it. And now we really get to work. Tonight, we celebrate. So celebrate.
Everybody should be proud. It's a huge accomplishment for the team, and it's exciting for the city.
It was so much fun, man, just to be in the dugout, watching that game unfold. I think everyone knew what was at stake, and we put pressure on ourselves to do it early, and we did a great job, man.
Oh, it's a great birthday gift right here. Actually, I told the guys like a month ago if we could do the clinching on my birthday, and you know, they're great teammates. So yeah, we're very happy. We're in this situation. This is the first step towards the goals that we want to accomplish, and you know, we just gotta keep going.
Just like Carlos Correa said there, we just got to keep it going. Fresh off of a division clinching a victory, the Twins continue their series with the Angels, looking to continue their stride through the final 8 games of the regular season. First pitch of the series coming up at the top of the hour. It was a magical night at this ballpark last night. The Twins wrapped up a big win over the Angels and officially punched their ticket to the postseason, becoming the 2023 Central Division champions. It doesn't get old saying that. Hello, everyone, as we welcome you on to the main concourse just up from the first base line here at Target Field for Twins Live. With Tim Laudner, I'm Katie Storm. The Twins, they had some business to take care of last night, and that they did. And now today, they're coming into this one riding quite a bit of momentum.
Yeah, they are. They're going to be a pretty happy ball club today. I'm not sure what kind of shape some of those guys are going to be in today. However, they're going to try to figure out a way to play a baseball game. But going back to last night, that's what you play baseball for. And when you win a division championship, it's a time to celebrate, because when you leave spring training, that is goal number one, be the Central Division champions, and they accomplished that goal last night. Now there's some unfinished business. You got 8 games left to play in the regular season. You don't want to discount those games, because you want to use those games to get ready for the postseason, and then the postseason is going to begin. That's a whole different element. That's a whole different season that's going to start next week. So for this ball club, a lot of reasons to celebrate, a lot of reasons to be pretty happy with yourselves. And the reality is that having an opportunity to win a Central Division championship doesn't come along every year. You can't take any of this for granted.
Much like this season, it's been a battle for the Twins, a lot of different ups and downs, and last night that was the game. It was a battle. The Twins put up some early runs on the board against the Halos. They responded, and later on they piled up some more, fortunately, but some late game drama by Duran. They came out on top. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and it starts with the starting pitcher last night, Pablo Lopez. By all indications, he will get the start next Tuesday, October 3rd. And will his next appearance be a bit of a tune-up? Will he get 5-6 innings? He got 6 innings in last night. 6 good solid innings. So for Pablo Lopez, we're talking about a guy that has not missed a start all season long. He's done his job. Last night, the guys did a pretty good job of supporting him with some runs. They drew 10 walks. Yeah, some of that is going to go on the Anaheim pitching staff, but some of it's going to go on the Twins offensively from the standpoint that they become a bit more selective stepping into the batter's box. So offensively, they are trending in the right direction for postseason play. They want to continue that for these next 8 ball games. and be ready to go next week.
Yeah, we got to take a deeper dive into that offense. Later on, we will here on Twins Live. But first, what a special group that the Twins have this season, from their veteran leadership to some of their younger guys in the clubhouse. Dick Bramer and LaTroy Hawkins join us from the booth now. And guys, you love to see the Twins clinch the division, but also in front of the home crowd. Last night was so amazing.
Yeah, we were reminded there are different levels of celebrating a championship. The Twins could have clinched Thursday on an off day with the players scattered all over the Twin Cities area. They could have clinched after a Tiger loss last night and would have had to wait in the clubhouse for a few hours. But they did it the best way possible last night on the field.
Yeah, last night, being able to do this, accomplish this in front of the Minnesota Twins fans is what every home team wants to do, the winning team. It was just a great all-around game last night. Got a little hectic at the end, but they was able to keep the lead. But doing it in front of your fans, like you said, doing it on an off day, doing it in a visiting team ballpark, that's not the way you want to do it. Sometimes that's the only way you can do it. But having it here in front of your fans is the best way to do it. And you get a chance to experience it. You see the players run around the outfield, just making the fans feel that much more special. And when they feel special, they feel special. They feel like they're connected to the team.
And one of the reasons they're connected here in Minnesota, the fans and the players, the Homer Hanky's back this year. So we'll see if the Twins fans can wave these a lot in a long playoff run, which would start, as Tim mentioned, a week from Tuesday.
The Homer Hankies are back. You love to see it. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later on for the coverage of this game. And yeah, as LaTroy and Dick mentioned, they're great to see everything happen in front of the fans. And what better than it being Fan Appreciation Weekend here at Target Field. Well, last night, Aja Martin, she was busy all throughout the clubhouse listening to players and staff about the success of this team so far this season. One of the members of the staff, of course, the Twins president of baseball operations, Derek Falvey. Listen back to what he had to say after the Twins' big win.
Derek, congratulations. The goal that you and your players set in spring training was accomplished tonight. How good does it feel?
It feels amazing. I mean, I credit to all these guys, the work they put in the offseason, going through the ups and downs of a season. It's just a testament to all the work they put in. The coaching staff, I couldn't be prouder of those guys. I'm so thankful to our fans, the Pohlad family, everybody. It's just great.
What was it like to watch this group this year that had to battle? It wasn't a season where you were running away with it. It was a fight. What was it like to see these guys come together like that?
I think that even during some of the tougher stretches for this team, we watched a group that every day showed up the same way. Whether we were on a 3-4 game good run or a 3-4 game bad run, they showed up the same way. And I think that's what the type of identity that we've developed as a club. If we get through the end of the year and you're winning every night, you're pushing, you got a chance to come back. We just came back the other day in a big game, like we did tonight, a tight finish. That's playoff baseball, and hopefully we can go do it again.
In the offseason, you went and got guys like Pablo Lopez, Michael A. Taylor, Willie Castro, guys to come in and bolster the group that you already had in place. How fitting that tonight, some of those guys were the biggest parts of getting it done.
Yeah, that's what's so fun. You know, you see a Kyle Farmer go play great defense all night. You see Willie Castro really do everything for us through the course of the year. Those are the guys that sometimes through the course of the season get overlooked. Not on this team. I mean, they were just as big a part of it as any of the bigger name players on our team. So we're just really proud of every player on this roster all the way through.
You've got a group of rookies here that has the potential to end the season as one of the best groups this organization's had. How exciting is it to think about what they will do continuing down the road?
I think when I look at this group, I see a group that's still on the rise. A lot of young kids, as you just mentioned, merging up with some veterans that are great for us. That hopefully will give a lot of just a lot of confidence in the group that can go in the years to come. So I think this group's going to be around for a long time, making some real noise.
Step one checked off. Now go get step two.
Yeah, exactly. Now we move on. Let's enjoy tonight. We'll get to work again tomorrow.
Sounds good. Congratulations.
Thanks, Otter.
Yeah, that was a great interview, and I love what Derek Falvey said there about whether the team was on a good run or a bad run. They showed up every day, and they have such a strong identity for that. This group is resilient. No shortage of fight in them all season long, and Tim, especially in the month of September with their offense. You mentioned that earlier. You love to see guys like Carlos Correa step up at this time of the year, but it's really everyone up and down their lineup.
And when you have everybody that's almost hitting on all cylinders, yeah, that makes your ball club a lot better. It makes you play with a lot more confidence. We've seen this ball club, for all intents and purposes, pitch. Their starting pitching has been there since March 30th. The guys have done a really good job. Now, there have been instances when those starting pitchers have felt like they've had to go out and throw a perfect game or a no-hitter or a shutout to be able to win the baseball game because offensively it wasn't clicking. Well, now it's clicking a lot better. Offensively, the guys are doing a much better job of bunching some hits together, doing a much better job of being selective at the plate, getting good pitches to hit, taking the walk, and relying on the next guy to be able to come up and do his job. So, yeah, you want to be playing your best baseball in the month of September. It's still about pitching and defense, and the guys are doing a great job of pitching the baseball and catching the baseball. Now, offensively, guys are playing with a lot of confidence right now, and it shows.
And it's, of course, at the right time. This club, they have been fun to watch, and what a fun night it was here at Target Field. We'll still to come on Twins Live. Hear from the manager in last night's celebrations. We'll hear what Rocco Baldelli had to say after his team secured their 9th division win in franchise history. Plus, there's some business to take care of today now. The Twins look for their 2nd straight win over the Angels, and Sonny Gray is on the hill looking to lead his team there. We'll preview his start shortly. But next, it's a fun time of the year in Major League Baseball. We'll take a look around the league at some of the other playoff races when we return right here on Twins Live.
Join MLB Network and your favorite players for a show made just for you. Play ball. It's all the big moments, bat flips, and amazing plays from an exciting week of baseball and tips to up your game on MLB Network.
You wanted more speed? We've got you covered. More action? More runs? Oh, yeah. More leather coming right up. Pound for pound, this is the best baseball you've ever seen.
Covering a full night of baseball is a team effort, and it all starts right here with MLB Tonight's first pitch.
Let's go to the ballpark so you get a chance to look around a little bit.
A match between the best teams in the National League going head-to-head.
During the games, we take you to the games where you might see a live walk-off. And after the games, we want to hear from the players as bad as you do.
First career walk-off hit. How did that one feel?
Man, it's as good as it gets.
And that's how this team covers every team on MLB Tonight.
Summer. We'll look at the American League postseason picture as of today with that wild card race. It's the Rays, Blue Jays, and Astros. After their loss to the Rangers last night, Seattle trails the Stros by a half game for a wild card spot. Now, the Mariners do hold the tiebreaker advantage there. The Orioles lead the Rays by 1.5 games in the AL East race. Baltimore also holds the tiebreaker advantage. The Orioles have dropped 3 straight in 6 of their last 10. The Jays beat the Rays in their series opener. Now, if the season ended today, the Twins will be matched up with the Astros here at Target Field for the wild card series. As we welcome you back to Twins Live. It's just a fun time of the year all around baseball. Every September, you're keeping an eye on these playoff races. And fortunately, the Twins, they're taken care of. They have punched their ticket to the playoffs. But we got to take a look at some of the other races, some of the other highlights going on all throughout baseball. So first, we'll start with a player that he has been really unstoppable this season. He's been another fun one to watch. And that player being Ronald Acuna Jr. Last night, he hit his 40th home run of the season. Tim, he now has 40 homers and 40 stolen bases, becoming the 5th member of the 40-40 club in MLB history.
Katie, the guy's a freak. This guy is a bona fide Major League Baseball player, and the reality is, if there was another league higher, than Major League Baseball, he'd get called up to the next league. This guy can do it all on baseball field. Not just offensively, not just with his speed, but defensively. When he catches the baseball, you better not try to take an extra base because he can throw it as well. Just a complete baseball player.
Meanwhile, in Miami, the Brewers punched their ticket to the postseason with a dominating 16-1 victory over the Marlins. It marks Milwaukee's 5th playoff berth in their last 6 seasons.
You know, even though we don't especially like them, we're going to have to congratulate our neighbors to the east and congratulate them on a really, really good season. That guy right there, Craig Counsell's done a nice job of managing his way through this season with that ball club of his. Congratulations to the Milwaukee Brewers.
The Astros lost to the Royals last night in Houston's final regular season home series, dropping them out of first place in the West and into the 3rd wild card spot with just 8 games remaining.
I got to tell you what, to try to figure out the probabilities and what could possibly happen, you're going to need to be an actuary, and I'm not. So we're going to enjoy watching this American League West, how it's going to end up. Now, the Minnesota Twins have an outside chance of possibly moving into a bye situation, being only 3 games out of the American League West leader right now, which happens to be the Texas Rangers. They beat the Mariners last night. They hold the tiebreaker over the Mariners, and so, Katie, you're going to have to keep an eye on all this stuff for me, because I can't keep up with everything that's going on in the American League West. Jeez.
Yeah, that is a close race indeed. And speaking of close, I mean, there's a lot of head-to-head matchups with these teams in closing time. The wild card contenders looking at their remaining schedules, Tim. It's only going to get more and more interesting down the stretch.
And for me, more and more confusing. And I'm going to have to keep an eye on this thing almost on a daily basis, maybe even twice a day, to see what the heck is going on. But I will say, and it's a really outside chance, with the Twins being only 3 games out of a bye situation, is it possible? Does that change the kind of lineups that you're going to make out, how you're going to approach your last 8 games with the after this weekend, the Oakland Ball Club coming in and then going out to Colorado? Is it going to change the way that the Minnesota Twins are going to approach, or how they're going to set themselves up? Or are they focused on October 3rd? That's going to remain to be seen. But if they get a little bit closer to that bye situation, you can bet that there are going to have to be some decisions that are going to be made, and maybe they're going to have to zig when they should zag, or zag when they should zig, just to kind of keep that in mind if that's going to be a possibility.
Like I just said, it's a fun time of the year. Anything can happen, and we'll just keep our eye on all of these races in the American League wildcard race, I'm saying, too. So it'll be fun. We'll still come on Twins Live. We'll get the skipper's thoughts after a historic night at Target Field. Rocco Baldelli's pregame presser comes your way after this. Jameson.
Hey kids, join MLB Network and your favorite players for a show made just for you. Play ball. It's all the big moments, bat flips, and amazing plays from an exciting week of baseball, and tips to up your game on MLB Network.
Sunday, on the next episode of MLB's Carded, join Greg Amsinger for a look at all things cardboard, from vintage to modern. We've got it covered. MLB's Carded, Sunday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network.
You wanted more speed? We've got you covered. More action? More runs? Oh, yeah. More leather? Coming right up. Pound for pound, this is the best baseball you've ever seen.
Games and coverage all day, every day, your way on MLB Network.
Twins Live on Valley Sports is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. The Twins clinched a playoff berth for the 15th time in history last night. They're third in the last 5 seasons. Here's Rocco Baldelli's thoughts on last night and his team's success this season ahead of first pitch this afternoon.
Well, I don't think we're going to be in the playoffs if we don't have them. So I don't know. But I mean, that's probably ultimately that's what we're here for. We're here to start with going to the playoffs, giving ourselves an opportunity to win a World Series. That's the start. That's the first goal. And I don't think I'm sitting here talking like this. I don't think we win the division without them. And if we do, we're clearly not as good of a ball club without them. So they've been immensely meaningful and impactful, and they've done that production-wise, and they've done that with their personalities, too. They've been good, all of them.
How about Julian defensively? What strides have you seen him make out in the field?
Well, I'll say this. From everyone that has seen him over time, because I haven't. I've only seen him this really playing defensively, really locking in on him this year. So, I mean, I think he's made adjustments just in the time that I've seen him. But the people that have seen him over the course of a few years have said that he's just grown, and he's kind of redefined himself as a defensive player. Significantly better player today than he was 2 years ago. And with his mentality and work ethic, I expect him to be even better next year and the year after.
On Thursday, I mean, there were so many ways this could have played out last night, and I know like half your coaches weren't here in Minnesota. Some players probably went home and saw families, that kind of stuff. Given that all that stuff, how much did you enjoy that moment, getting to celebrate together? I mean, you think about how many different variables there were. It could have been clinched when you guys were all home.
Yeah. My vocabulary is kind of tight today. I don't really have a lot to work with. I'd love to come up with some good ways to describe this. Going out there and winning a ball game at our ballpark in front of our fans with our whole group here to clinch is it's the most emotional and exciting way to clinch. I wouldn't. To be very honest, though, I don't want to push it off another day or 2 or 3. So, no. Like, as soon as we can clinch, I will take the clinch. So, it would have been very unusual. It would have been weird as hell, sitting on your couch on the off day, learning that you clinched, just kind of texting everybody, maybe jumping on a FaceTime with a couple of the guys. Congratulations. I'm so tired of Zoom. I'm done with Zoom. Yeah. So I mean that would have been weird, and ultimately, we were able to enjoy it probably more. But I mean, you're not going to get me saying, "Oh, I hope we clinch on 2 days from now instead of no. We'll take it now, and sometimes 2 days from now never comes."
Fortunately, no celebrations over Zoom for the Twins last night. Coming up, Sonny Graham the Hill for the second game of the series. We analyze his spark in the rotation this season next.
To some, this is a race. To others, this is. And this, well, you get the idea. But there's no better race than a pennant race.
It's amazing to watch.
And nobody prepares you like MLB Tonight.
Inside the park we go.
With live look-ins to all the big games and breakdowns from TV's best baseball analysts.
There's a million things going on.
They can come at you fast.
You got to take these games one at a time.
You'll be up to speed, just like these guys.
You think so?
I do.
I can't agree more. We're in a pennant race.
MLB Tonight, every night on MLB Network.
Sunday, on the next episode of MLB's Carded, join Greg Amsinger for a look at all things cardboard, from vintage to modern. We've got it covered. MLB's Carded, Sunday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network. Watch games and coverage all day, every day, your way on MLB Network.
Welcome back. For our Menards Today's Tilt, Sonny Gray has been phenomenal this season and enters this one with the third lowest ERA in the big leagues this season. His 7 homers allowed are the fewest also in all of baseball. Now this rotation, they've been a reason for why the Twins are in the position they are in. We talked about that even last night after they clinched a playoff berth. And the consistency from Sonny Gray, Tim, well, it's been something the rotation has been able to rely on. He's just had a career year here in Minnesota.
Katie, that's why he's been mentioned in some of the conversation with regards to the American League Cy Young Award, and deservingly so, because he has had a phenomenal year. Now, there's a guy over in New York that might have a stranglehold on that award, but to be mentioned along with some of those guys as some of the best pitchers in the league, and Sonny Gray's got to be pretty proud of the fact that he has had himself just a heck of a season. And take a look at his road and his home splits. Doesn't matter where he pitches. This is a guy that's been around the league long enough to know that, you know, the mound is 60 feet 6 inches away from home plate. Go ahead and throw it over. Use all your good stuff, and Sonny Gray's done that as well as anybody over the course of this year. And so, moving forward, pretty obvious that I think that Pablo Lopez probably going to get the start on the first day of the playoffs. You got to believe that Sonny Gray has carved his name in stone for the second game of the playoffs. And so he pitches today right after Pablo Lopez. He's probably going to pitch Friday night in Colorado as a tune-up for his start in the postseason. I think the Twins are in pretty good position with regards to their starting pitching. They've been in good position with their starting pitching since March 30th. So having these two guys in the rotation, set yourself up to be pretty good.
And it doesn't always show up on the stat sheet really at all, but Sonny Gray, that passion on the mound, that is fun to watch. He's looking to lead his team to their second straight win over the Angels. Tim and I will see you after the game. First pitch coming up next on Valley Sports.
Jeremy Peña, the world champion shortstop with movie star presencia.
Every Dominican wants to grow up and play baseball, bro.
When I was 13, I was like, the plan is to get to the big leagues.
I love seeing young Dominicans win, bro, because I'm an old Dominican.
Tú sabes que el dominicano que juega, todo el mundo juega pelota. I was just looking forward to playing again, man. This is going to be a fun year.
Salud a la vida más fina.
Salud, hermano.
This is Chris Bryant. This is Christopher Russo. And this is the High Heat Hot Seat. Chris Bryant plays hard so he doesn't end up here. High Heat with Christopher Russo, helping players play harder on MLB Network. This is Christopher Russo. This is Joey Votto. And this is the High Heat Hot Seat. Christopher Russo plays hard so he doesn't end up here.
Must be nice to sit atop that Madison Avenue ivory tower looking down on us with those luscious locks. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're just great.
High Heat with Christopher Russo.
It took me the last 2 weeks prepping for this interview. I didn't realize how much I love you. You are the best.
On MLB Network.
The heart of your teams. The heart of Minnesota. Valley Sports North. The heart of the fan.
Sure, there was some anxiety last night in the ninth inning. We better get used to it. But Eddie Julian made the play, and the Twins clinched the American League Central title last night in Game 1 against the Los Angeles Angels. A thrilling night here at Target Field. And we'll see what's in store this afternoon. Game 2 between the Angels and the American League Central champion, Minnesota Twins. We're at Target Field. Dick Bramer along with LaTroy Hawkins and Justin Morneau. So the Twins last night only hit one home run, but boy, did they hit one at a good time, because it was shortly after the Angels tied the game at 3.
Yeah, Alex Kirilloff, we talk about this young core of Twins players that have definitely infused this lineup with their production. And last night, Alex Kirilloff did not disappoint. He went up there, game was tied, was able to get him a pitch that he can handle. We've seen him hit the ball out of the ballpark, the left field and center field. He was able to turn on this pitch and give the Twins a 4-3 lead, and they never looked back.
Well, the Twins have hit over 200 home runs this year, among the league leaders in hitting home runs. But really the remarkable thing, Justin, is the balance that they've got in the power department 1 through 9.
It is amazing, and it's how you have to win in the playoffs. This team is built to win in the playoffs based on this attack. You cannot hide anywhere in this lineup, especially at the bottom. They move the lineup around. They have different guys in different spots based on matchups, but it seemed to work all year long. If they need a 2-run homer, they can get it from any point. So you're not pitching around guys and saying, see if we can get to the 7th spot or the 8th spot, and we have some easy outs down there. It's if we make a mistake at any part in this batting order, it can be a 2 or 3-run homer, and that can turn the game around, and that's how you have to win in today's game and in the playoffs.
If you smell real carefully, there's still a hint of champagne in the air here. It was a fun night here at Target Field, and Audra will have more about the celebration at Target Field last night.
Games and coverage all day, every day, your way on MLB Network.
Covering a full night of baseball is a team effort. From the first pitch,
Let's go to the ballpark.
to live look-ins and post-game reactions.
Tell us how this one feels.
That's how this team covers every team on MLB Tonight.
You wanted more speed? We've got you covered. More action? More runs? Oh, yeah. More leather? Coming right up. Pound for pound, this is the best baseball you've ever seen.
We talked about it in spring training. We followed through on what we said we were going to do. We said it, we did it, and now we really get to work. Tonight, we celebrate. So celebrate.
And celebrate they did. The champagne has dried out here at Target Field, but the excitement remains as the Twins return to work this afternoon as division champs, looking to take down the visiting Angels. We welcome you back to Target Field. I'm Audra Martin. Well, last night was quite an exciting night here at Target Field. 13 years between the last celebration with the fans in the house and the party last night, all kicked off by Rocco Baldelli. Once that final out was recorded, the shirts, the hats, the goggles were all handed out and the party began. In case you missed all of the action, let's relive the excitement. Plastic sheets lining the walls in anticipation of 360 beers and 96 bottles of champagne, with most of those contents ultimately ending up on the players and on the floor. The music was blaring, providing the perfect soundtrack for all of the videos taken by the players who finally got to celebrate the goal they set for themselves back in the spring. There is still more work to do, but for now, they will enjoy what they accomplished last night.
Still kind of exhilarating. I mean, it's still, you know, there's some remnants of a couple of things still kind of laying around, and, you know, the carpet smells a little bit like champagne and beer and maybe, I don't know, other stuff. I don't know. But it feels good. And some of the guys that kind of knew they were likely playing today, I think, hydrated up and got ready to go. So our guys will be ready to play when the game starts.
I think you have to look at, you know, what we want to do, where we want to stand in the postseason. I think that we're trying to chase the Astros now and hopefully catch up with them for that second seed and see what happens, because the wild card game, we don't know who we're going to play because it's a back and forth between those three teams. And so we're just going to take it one day at a time. You know, Sonny's got to come out and pitch well. We got to play good behind him and take care of business.
Coming up, a late night gives way to a sunny day at the ballpark. It's game 2 between the Angels and the AL Central Division champs. Next.
MLB The Show legend line. Ready to play?
Let's get it.
Come on. Nice.
That was sick.
Man, you like that? Check out the new Storylines mode where you can play as one of the Negro League baseball legends.
Your voice sounds familiar. Do I know you?
Just call me the captain.
Rated E for everyone. Covering a full night of baseball is a team effort, and it all starts right here with Harold and Adnan on MLB Tonight's First Pitch.
Who's ready for baseball?
It's time for the first pitch.
We're about 25 minutes from game time. I'm so excited.
Our quick hitters right out of the gate. During the games, we take you to the games where you might see a lot.
Greg, we have a potential walk-off at Wrigley.
No way. What's going on?
Oh, they've got a runner at third and Nico Horner's up.
Here's a pitch.
Base hit. Nico rocks it out. Cubs win. Cubs win.
And after the games, we're all about instant highlights and player reactions.
Nico, congratulations. Your first career walk-off hit. How did that one feel?
Oh, man, it's as good as it gets. An amazing crowd here tonight. Wrigley Field is a very special place. We're feeling good right now, for sure.
And that's how this team covers every team. All in a night's work on MLB Tonight.
The day after a championship clinch, good weather, 72. We hope the rain holds off. And it's been remarkable. We've talked about this before. Here we are so deep into the season, 154 games in. And the only postponement the Twins have had was their home opener, which they simply pushed back a day. No doubleheaders. The weather has been incredible and very accommodating for a baseball team that you know, has been in first place, but they haven't had to double up for double headers at all so far this year, and everybody's hoping that's the case today. You're looking at some of the starters out there for the Twins who'll be heading out there.
A lot of sunglasses today.
Yeah, whether they need them or not. It's not because of the bright sunshine. But it was such a special night. We're hopeful that you were able to watch it in person or on TV last night, because it really is something different. Rocco Baldelli talked about it in his media session this morning. The best part of it all, he said, you saw the craziness in the clubhouse, but the best part of it all, I think, for everybody down on the field was sharing that on the field with the fans.
And that's the best part about it. Like, just your fan base, you know, who've been behind you all year, who's like lifelong Twin fans, get a chance to celebrate in, you know, the victory and the best moment of the year. So up until this point, you know, that's goal number one has been accomplished, winning the division.
Sonny Gray will make the start for the Twins. Phil Nevin, part of a Twins championship in 2006, just trying to hold things together for the final week and a half of the season. And the Angel lineup for Game 2, brought to you by Menards. Leadoff man is Nolan Shanuel, Brendan Drury, Randall Grichuk, Jaron Walsh, Joe Adell. Former Twin Eduardo Escobar hitting 6th. Michael Stefanik, Chad Wallach, and David Fletcher.
Home Furniture starting pitching stat. Right-hander taking the mound for the Twins this afternoon. Sonny Gray making his 31st start. Going to use 4 pitches, predominantly 4-seam fastball, slider, occasional curveball, sinker occasionally. Hadn't thrown as many this year as he did last year. Coming off a very good start in Chicago. See if he can continue his dominance of the opposing teams.
And after this game, Rocco Baldelli confirming that Gray will make one more start in the regular season, the length of which will be determined, of course. Twins out on the field, brought to you by Ford. Trevor Larnach, Andrew Stevenson, Matt Wallner. And the infield, Solano, Farmer, Julian Luplow, and Christian Vasquez behind the plate. Andrew Stevenson trying to play well enough to be considered for a roster spot on the postseason roster, which will be playing here at Target Field a week from Tuesday. Luplow's had an interesting week. Designated for assignment or released, brought back to the Twins, and was able to take part in the craziness last night after the game, when a few days earlier may have thought that his career was over with. So good time last night, I'm sure, for Jordan Luplow.
Well, I think no matter how long you've been around the game, you never take that for granted, what they got to share as a group with the fans and in the clubhouse after. It's just something you never know how long you're going to play. You never know how many opportunities you're going to have to be on a winning team.
Shanuel takes ball 1.
A former teammate Ryan Doumit got himself 10 years in the big leagues. Never played on a team with a winning record. I can't imagine
Is that right?
how miserable that would be when you get established and all you want to do is win.
Wow. Well, for the Doumits of the world, but even Ernie Banks, Hall of Fame player, never got to the World Series, and he played in an era where there were no playoffs. He had some winning teams that he was on, but he never played a postseason game. 1-1, and now 2-1.
It just goes to show you how hard it is, you know, to win a championship. I mean,
just getting there is tough in the game of baseball.
Yes.
It was the 3rd Twins championship in the last 5 years. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
I think it's such a good thing for these young players to come into this environment and to see how close this team is, see how this team has kind of grown together, and you realize earlier in your career that you're playing for something more than yourself, for the fans and for your teammates and the guy sitting in the locker next to you across the.
Sends a breaking ball over for a called 3rd strike.
59% of Sonny Gray's strikeouts have been by the breaking ball, and proving that stat correct. And just locked up Shanuel.
They gave up on that. I think maybe expecting that riding four-seam fastball to end up above the zone. Just everything kind of comes out of that same release point for Sonny, and it's all very effective.
And the fastball at 94 for a strike.
Yeah, I think just to be around that environment and understand that, yeah, you want to get here, you want to establish yourself, you want to prove that you can be an everyday player, you want to make it to arbitration, all that stuff, but it all takes a backseat to winning.
Winning is the standard.
And I think when you come into an environment and that's the expectation that is set, you're not going through a rebuild. I think it's much better to bring players up into this environment than it is to come up and lose 100 games for a couple of years and just try and get better. You come up here and you see what it looks like when it's done right.
I was part of a couple of those teams, and it just doesn't feel good at all. I mean, you come up and doing a rebuilding time, and you figure out every way to lose a ball game. You don't figure out how to win ball games.
But I think that's the beauty of bringing in some of these established guys. Obviously, Correa sets the tone and been there in the playoffs and done it many times. And I mean, you see how he goes about his business every single day. There's no day off from his routine, from his work ethic, from the way he prepares. And he goes out there and when you see whether you want to call it your most established guy or your highest paid guy, however you view it, you look at your leaders and how they prepare and how they show up every day, and you can't help but look and go, I want to be there one day. How do I get there? And he sets a pretty good blueprint of how to get yourself established and then stay.
That is just wide of the bag. Almost hit the bag.
Oh, Luplow handled that one easily. Nice to get a little touch there early in this thing, I'm sure. This was close. This thing was trying to stay fair.
One and two. And now up and away 2-2. On the other side of the coin, since the Angels were very aggressive in bringing players in, everything imaginable has gone wrong. Since the trade deadline, the Angels are 13-34.
Ouch.
The worst record in the major leagues.
See, we got into this a little last night, and I will say this, we were just talking about it. I give them credit for the fact that they went for it. It might not have been the best decision, but they said, you know what, this is a chance.
Tapper. And the ball getting by Luplow. And no chance for the runner Drury to advance. Wasn't even sure that he was aware that the ball got by the first baseman. So an infield hit. And that'll bring up Grichuk.
You're right, Warnie. You got to give him credit, but the elephant in the room is Shohei Ohtani. Like, what do you like? You have to trade him or you have to sign him. You can't just let him go to free agency. You can't just for one extra pick. Is that what it? I think it's one extra pick. You can't lose that type of generational talent for one player. You have to get a king's ransom for him.
Swinging a foul.
Depleting another team's major league roster.
I think they were in such a tough spot that I'm not sure teams were willing to give up what he was worth for a 2-month rental had they traded him at the end of July. And then at the same time, you have two of the best players in the game. It seems like you should add.
You almost got your wish, LaTroy.
But looking at their odds and where they were at during that time, it's so easy hindsight, looking at it now going, would have been better off trying to, pick up prospects instead of give them away.
And with the extra, wild card, it gives a lot of teams a little false hope to continue on what you're doing or, to bring the horses back in the barn. It gives a lot of teams a lot of false hope. Creates a game, it makes the games more exciting. It's another breaking ball from Sonny Gray. Just you can see
he's got that
locking him up.
Got that thing snapping today. See, like I'm with you. I was watching the other night. I watched that channel that's got like 6 games going at once, and I looked up at the screen, and every single game had playoff implications.
Yeah.
And I think that's good for the game of baseball. I know people talk about it being a little watered down, but at the same time, you look up and you see the Cubs playing. They're fighting for a division title and a playoff spot. And then you look up and you see Arizona. San Francisco still fighting. And you look around and every game has some type of meaning. So it's not like occasionally it'll happen at this point in the year.
From short right field, Julian makes a nice play to end the first inning.
Create amazing work with Fiverr. All you need is your team and a talented freelancer who will lend a hand and seamlessly join your team from just about anywhere. Expand your team with a Fiverr freelancer.
With the Game Time app, I paid 60% less than this guy. What? And it's not just sports tickets. It's also concerts. Performances, too!
Oh, come on!
Download Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Welcome to the Aura Sleep Lab. You need a bit more deep sleep. Getting enough high-quality sleep increases immunity. Why? Because sleep helps fend off sickness. A good night's sleep boosts your number of infection-fighting antibodies and cells. And with your Aura Ring, you can learn how to sleep deep and keep your immunity up. It's like having a sleep lab on your finger. Go to sleep with auraring.com.
They said optical shops weren't very inviting. So we, Warby Parker, created ones that were. They said prescription eyewear was too expensive, so we offered more affordable glasses, contacts, and eye exams. They said opticians weren't always friendly. So we hired only the friendliest and the most knowledgeable. And finally, they said the whole experience was just kind of unpleasant. So we set out to change that too. Visit a Warby Parker store and see for yourself.
This day will bring an end to an incredible week for Rocco Baldelli, father of twins as of Sunday night, manager of a division champion on a Friday night. And the Twins lineup for game 2 starts with Stevenson in the leadoff spot, Solano, Julian, Farmer, Taylor, Wallner, Vasquez, Larnach, and Luplow. That means Kirilloff, Polanco, Jeffers, Kepler, and Castro, 5 of the starters last night, start the day on the bench and will probably stay there. Who knows? We'll see.
And your Home Furniture starting pitcher stats will be facing the lefty Kenny Rosenberg. We saw the first pitch fastball about 90. That's kind of where it's going to sit. Best pitch is his changeup. He will throw that to righties and lefties. Primarily fastball change to the righties.
Taken outside, 1 and 2.
And then there's that right there. He's fastball change cutter to the lefty. So out pitch, change up the majority of the time. About half of his strikeouts have come on that. And he has thrown at least 5 innings in 4 of his outings so far this year in the big leagues.
2 and 2.
So they expect him to go somewhere between 80 and 90 pitches. Has not cracked 90 pitches this year. Hopefully the Twins can get to him and not let him get that far.
Stevenson with a strikeout, 1 away.
There's that changeup right there. Left on left change can be effective if you can get that ball moving down and in underneath the lefty's bats. You're going to turn it over, try and have that same arm action. You see that grip there. And one almost had a little cut action to it. Former teammate of Joe Ryan, college teammate.
Solano takes inside.
Played together at Cal State Northridge.
And now 2-0. Big swing and a miss.
You gave me a look like you didn't know you were sitting next to Vin Scully up here. The old little background on the guy we're facing.
Morning, I gave you a look as if I'm getting old. I can't hear. I thought you said Joe Nathan.
2-2.
I'm like, that's impossible. Stony Brook
in 1993.
2-2 to Solano with 1 away in the Twins first. Popped up, foul ball, and it will reach the seats.
So that changeup fastball combination is what he's going to live and die by. You saw Solano got beat by the fastball and then was fooled by the changeup. So I don't know if he's caught in between or if they're this early in the game they're having I wouldn't say trouble, but just trying to figure out exactly the different releases that ball's coming out on that changeup.
Trying to see what plane is on. And
back-to-back strikeouts, 2 down.
Back-to-back strikeouts on that changeup. So
with 2 down, a look at the Angels in the field. Brought to you by Ford, an outfield of Grichuk, Adele, and Walsh. Escobar getting third base. Fletcher and Stefanik up the middle. Shanuel at first and Wallach behind the plate. 2 down, and now Julian threatening to bunt, and I've been waiting for that. With 2 outs and nobody on, Julian trying to get the third baseman Escobar to come in, and right now it looks like it's worked. He's in on the edge of the grass now. Ball 1. Swing and a miss.
That's a good changeup.
Oh, that's a really good changeup. Got a parachute on it. Wow.
And the big difference, 8, 9, 10 miles an hour difference in speed between that and his fastball. So you have to completely sell out on it. If you're going to sit changeup, you have to just say, I'm willing to take 3 fastballs right down the middle, and I'm going to time to that changeup. Some guys you can adjust. You only have that 4 or 5 mile an hour difference. You can kind of adjust almost mid-swing.
Deep to the left field corner. Carrying to the pole, but foul.
And that's what we were talking about last night. Is he going to hit lefties? That was almost the picture I had in my mind of him being able to drive that ball the other way while letting it travel and give himself a time to recognize the pitch. And because he can hit the ball with authority the other way, you learn that trust, and then you give yourself time to recognize those breaking balls, recognize that changeup that he's probably going to see again here in this at-bat. So I think there is an opportunity for him to learn as he goes in the big leagues and then learn how to hit lefties because he has the ability to drive the ball the other way.
But do you think that swing was a result of the changeup?
Yes.
Yeah.
Full count with Farmer on deck.
But to have enough confidence or enough trust to say, he just threw me his fastball and I drove it off the left field wall. It went 3 feet foul. But I let it travel, and I trust my hands enough that I feel like I'm not going to get beat by his best fastball.
And then as a pitcher, I'm thinking, oh, I got you now. I'm about to throw the changeup again.
Good take.
Julian's 58th walk. The first 56 were against right-handed pitchers, and now back-to-back walks against a lefty.
Well, this is a great take here. This ball's in the zone at the bottom of the zone for a long time.
Shows some very good plate discipline when not swinging at the pitcher's pitch.
And now Farmer reached every time he came to the plate last night. And a nice defensive play. Taking ball 1. You can see in his last 15 starts, Farmer's been swinging it awfully well. Sharply toward the hole and through. Julian to second. And with 2 down, the Twins start a rally. 2 aboard now for Michael A. Taylor.
A former teammate, it's escaping my mind right now, but used to say, every time you look up, see his name on the lineup card, you want to win? You want to win? Put Farmer in. Something seems to happen when he's in the lineup. It's just, he gets some consecutive days of playing, he gets some rhythm at the plate, he looks comfortable, and finds a way to kind of spark everybody. And just that steady presence. He's been such a great add to this ball club.
I'm looking for Michael A. Taylor to have a big day. The lefty that doesn't throw as hard, got a changeup. Got him a good changeup yesterday and was able to drive the ball in the right center field gap for an RBI.
Wallach couldn't find it for a while, but Julian couldn't pull the trigger and go to third.
Yeah, that ball kicks towards the third base line. That's a short throw for that catcher. It's only about 70 feet once he picks that thing up. So with 2 outs, he's not taking a chance there. You'd love to have both guys in scoring position, but it's a lot better than the inning being over.
And now 2-0. Last night the Twins took 10 walks, and eventually that cost the Angels the ball game, and we'll see how this first walk this afternoon plays into things. Flip foul, 2-1. Check, and now 3-1. Wallner on deck.
I'm guessing Michael Taylor will have the green light. Let it eat.
There's a walk, and they're loaded now for Wallner. Rosenberg seemed quite comfortable out there, struck out the first 2 batters, but then he walked Julian. And suddenly the Twins have the bases loaded again.
Just keep walking themselves into trouble here. There's just inability to throw something off speed behind in the count to get back in the count.
Wallner with just 5 hits in 40 at-bats against a lefty.
Another good crowd
do some first inning damage. Yeah, very nice crowd.
Over 30,000 last night. And looks starting to get pretty excited about this team.
Checked and taken for strike 1. Now 1-1. Looked like Rosenberg was going to breeze through the first inning in about a dozen pitches. Inside, nearly hit him. 2-1. Just 12 strikes. And a 2-1 count to Wallner. Off speed, swing and a miss.
He's seen it once, so that's that same pitch Julian was able to lay off in that 3-2. Ball 4 on him. So he's seen it now. Hopefully he can find a way to kind of stay back and just trust his hands. Know that he's got plenty of bat speed to catch up to his best fastball.
My goodness, now 3-2. Carousel will start here. Everybody will leave early. Wallner got an RBI last night with a bases loaded walk. Fall back.
See, I think, well, Troy, that swing right there, you take feedback from that. For me, that's, you get jammed, but it's a good feeling as a hitter to know that, okay, that's all he's got. That's the best he can do. I've got time here. Do you try and read that as a pitcher?
Yeah, I'm reading that. But, you know, when I got my best pitch is my changeup, I'm throwing that early and often.
To left, hanging in the air for Grichuk. And the Twins leave them full again. No score after 1.
Jumpstart dinner with Home Chef's microwavable meals. It's time to get dinner ready faster. With Home Chef's fast and fresh meals, there's no prep and no mess. They're faster, fresher, and tastier. Get dinner done in 3, 2, 1. It's time to set the table. Delicious meat simple. Get 18 free meals at homechef.com.
Why pay over $100 a month for cable when it's half the cost for Fubo TV? Get all the channels you want on the only live TV streaming service rated #1 in customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. Try free at FuboTV.com.
Sure, you'll teach her to drive a car. Then use Greenlight and teach her to save up for her own car. Mowing lawns and getting paid. Navigate the world of earning, saving, and investing together. Invest in your best investment. Greenlight.
We love going to games, but good seats get pricey. So we use Game Time. Game Time tracks ticket prices in real time and finds you all the best last-minute deals. We got our seats 20 minutes ago for 60% off. Last-minute tickets at the best price in seconds. Download Game Time now.
with today's clubhouse coverage. Rocco Baldelli reflected on the celebrations last night, saying, yeah, one of the greatest parts was just being able to be out on the field, give the fans some high fives and thank them in person. But he also mentioned Kenta Maeda and the fact that he got to see a whole new side of Kenta, who became the ringleader in the clubhouse celebrations. As he put it, I'm glad the whole world is now aware of that side of him because the guy knows how to have fun, and I am all for it. Rocco also said it was great to see that guys like Kyle Farmer, Michael A. Taylor, and Willie Castro were such a big part of the win last night. He said they've all had stretches where they're playing every day, but they've also had stretches where they aren't playing a ton at all. And regardless, they have all played such big roles for this team all year long. So it's very fitting that they were the ones out there to get the job done. What a night, guys.
Very memorable. And in your own way, I'm guessing a lot of you viewers, fans, were able to celebrate the Twins championship last night. Sonny Gray coming off the mound, making the play for the first out. And now Eduardo Escobar, one of the players the Angels acquired for what they hoped would be a playoff push.
I remember when we acquired him, I was here still playing and had no idea what we were getting, but we were talking about it before. He was waving up to the booth, saying hi to us earlier, and one of the best human beings to ever put on a baseball uniform. Great teammate. He's carved out a great career for himself. He's done a great job. I mean, we made that trade. We traded up Lariano and didn't know what we were getting back. And he's still kicking around, and deservedly so. He's a great fit in any clubhouse. We were talking about why wouldn't you, if you're letting all these guys, you put them all on waivers hoping to get claimed, why wouldn't you add him to the mix? Somebody would probably pick him up.
The two-seamer, we don't see that often.
Yep. When we talk about it, we were talking about hockey. You know, some guys are so valuable at clubhouse. You bring a lot of young guys up. You want to see what it looks like when it's done right. This is a guy who does it right.
So a guy like never had a bad day. He always has a smile on his face. You know, in the clubhouse, he's just the ultimate teammate. We said the ultimate teammate, the ultimate professional, and Escobar is all those things rolled into one. You don't find it that often. We've had a lot of teammates. We know you don't find it that often.
2-2. And Sonny Gray with 3 early strikeouts, the only blemish on his afternoon so far, the chopper for an infield hit.
So that old front hip two-seamer, this one looked more like the four-seam, just up on the top of the zone, letting that thing ride. Being able to throw those two pitches in that location, one with a little more movement than the other. It's just his command of all his pitches what makes him so hard to sit on one pitch and go up there in the at-bat and then think you're actually going to get it to hit.
You can't sit on one pitch. That's not a good pre-at-bat plan. You know, I'm just gonna sit on this fastball. You might not ever get it.
Well, if he does throw it, it's going to be on the edge of the zone or up under your hands or whatever it is. I think guys like this, for me, it was more area hitting, location hitting. I'm looking either in, away, up, whatever it is. I got him checking there.
1-1.
Spoken by a true hitter.
That breaking ball has gotten a lot of called strikes already. This one called second strike.
See the slider, he threw it just off the plate. Got a swing, and then he went back to the slow curveball. Now the hitter's thinking, what am I going to get next? He got 2 other pitches he hadn't seen yet, the fastball or the changeup.
And the ground ball base hit to the opposite field. Stefanik keeps the inning alive, and that'll bring up Wally. Sonny Gray has a chance to be the American League ERA champion. Started the day 0.09 percentage points behind Garrett Cole. Well, his ERA has dropped by 2 1/100ths already to 2.82. Cole sits at 2.75. And he won't win it, I don't think, but he will get some Cy Young consideration as well. He's been that good. Updated now with 1 scoreless, an inning and 2/3 scoreless, 2.82.
back.
There's an argument that can be made. Making his 31st start of the year, he's been able to post. Time his name's been put on that lineup card, he's been ready to go. Quality, giving you a chance. We've seen him be able to navigate, get in some trouble like a veteran can. We see runners on second and third, nobody out. All of a sudden you look up and he's out of the inning. He's been able to work around trouble. He's been able to make pitches all year long, seemingly when he's needed to.
For those who have votes, and I don't have one, I hope they don't hold it against him that he went 3 months without a win. Hopefully we're at the point where we realize wins, even for starting pitchers, just aren't as significant as they were when guys typically completed games that they started. Down and away, 3-1.
Yeah, I guess starters will tell you they want the win. It's not do or die, the team win, but I'll say if I'm pitching well enough to get the win, you know, I'm lasting in the ballgame, I'm pitching to the 6th and whatever in the 7th inning and threw well enough to give my team a shot. I think there's some pride that they still take in that part of it.
Yeah, and you got the FIP stat right now, so fielding independent pitching and just get weighted on things that you can control: home runs, strikeouts, and walks, hit by pitch.
He went 15 starts between his 4th and 5th win.
Well, it's not like he struggled in
no. 3-2.
That's the argument you can make. With if you're not getting any run support, or you know, a bullpen struggling, you leave a game up 3-2, and you end up ultimately winning the game. But bullpen gives up one, offense picks you up. I mean, that kind of happened to him in that middle part of the season.
A lot of things are out of his control.
Yep.
3-2. Runner goes right off the end of the bat. Well, the Baltimore Orioles have the best record in the American League, second best to the Braves in the major leagues. Sonny Gray had a start against the Orioles, which was, I'm guessing, one of the best starts anybody's had against the Orioles. 6 innings, no runs allowed, 2 hits, and he didn't get the win.
No fault of his own.
No fault of his own. Another 3-2. Runner goes again. And another foul ball.
Back then, their pitcher would probably do 7 innings, hit 1 hit, and no runs. One of those Tyler Wells starts against us, maybe? No?
3-2. The most important thing moving forward is he has been healthy. Had some health issues last year. He's been healthy. Lopez has been healthy. Ryan is now healthy. That's bounced over the third base bag. Solano fires across, and that's by Luplow. And the runner will be held. The front runner will be held at third. There was a little collision between Wallach and Luplow that the first base umpire Phil Cuzzy caught.
They'll go down as an E5, an error on Solano. Not a lot of experience over there at first base. So that's that kind of in between. You're not sure if it's going to hang up or if it's going to skip for you, but that's a ball in the big leagues that you expect to.
Ooh. Like he maybe could have caught that without short hop.
It's an error. Right now, did you say given to Solano?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that it shouldn't be Luplow who gets the error. So Fletcher will bat with 2 men in scoring position. And only since I brought it up, the focus here is getting out of this inning, but because it is an error that has prolonged the inning, any run scoring this inning would be unearned runs to Gray, not earned runs. Ball 1. It's not the extra out, it's the extra pitches and all of that. The Twins have been pretty steady out in the field, given the injury situation, the constant rotation of players within a game. Players like Castro, who might play the first 2 games of a series in the outfield, then will play the 3rd game of the series in the infield. Now 2-0 to David Fletcher. Got a base hit against Duran in the 9th inning last night. Right center field, and it'll be chased by Stevenson. And he gets there.
A base hit, an error, no runs, and we're scoreless going to the bottom of the second.
You wanted more speed? We've got you covered. More action? More runs? Oh, yeah. More leather coming right up. Pound for pound, this is the best baseball you've ever seen.
Covering a full night of baseball is a team effort, and it all starts right here with Harold and Adnan on MLB Tonight's First Pitch.
Who's ready for baseball?
It's time for the first pitch.
We're about 25 minutes from game time. I'm so excited.
Our quick hitters right out of the gate. During the games, we take you to the games where you might see a lot.
Greg, we have a potential walk-off at Wrigley.
No way. What's going on?
Oh, they've got a runner at third and Nico Horner's up.
Here's a pitch.
Base hit. Nico rocks it up. Cubs win.
Cubs win.
Cubs win. And after the games, we're all about instant highlights and player reactions.
Nico, congratulations. Your first career walk-off hit. How did that one feel?
Oh, man, it's as good as it gets. An amazing crowd here tonight. Wrigley Field is a very special place. We're feeling good right now, for sure.
And that's how this team covers every team. All in a night's work on MLB Tonight.
Twins baseball on Bally Sports North is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. Oddly enough, that was a scene in the broadcast booth here last night as well after we were off the air. Shirts off.
Well, that's why you told me to leave.
Christian Vasquez will lead off the second inning for the Twins. Vasquez has not had the year offensively that the Twins or Vasquez for that matter had hoped. But this guy's a winner. Won a World Series in Boston, won a World Series last year in Houston. He's done a nice job behind the plate. And we mentioned it last night when we got the opening shots of the on-field celebration. The new players that were in most of the shots, whether it was Vasquez, Michael A. Taylor, Farmer. And we do it all the time. They come to the plate. We show you Vasquez's offensive numbers. What we can't show you, we can't measure the impact that they are as people in the clubhouse. We're going to talk to Pablo Lopez here in a little bit. And we all heard about his changeup. What we didn't know was what a great guy he is, right? I mean, he fits in whatever situation he's in, and all these guys have done that. It's one thing to go out and get players. It's another to go out and get people that can mesh together.
And winners.
And that's how the discussion started with this guy. He's a winner.
He was sitting in
the center. And Vasquez is aboard with a hit.
After about 30 minutes of celebrating in the clubhouse, I went into the kitchen to grab something to eat, and Vasquez was there sitting eating already. He celebrated for a little bit and he went to eat.
He was acting like he had done it before.
He talked about like those guys are going to forget to eat. I'm not going to forget to eat.
But see, this is the beauty of this team. I think it's kind of grown into this. You have these leaders, these veteran guys who've been around, maybe not playing every day, but you see how excited they are for their teammates. And I think winning teams have that. I don't know where it grows from, whether it's a trust that grows throughout the year. Some guys just have it naturally, but you see that as a young player and you go, he's not starting today, but he's just as excited for that run that was just driven in there. He's here to win and he wants to be a part of this thing, and he kind of helps bring everyone together.
And when I see that, that lets me know a guy is fully invested.
Yep.
Fully invested. I would tell the guys in the bullpen, when you're pitching, I'm pitching mentally. When you're done, I'm mentally drained because I'm out there with you on each and every pitch. And if you don't have that type of cohesiveness, you know, that togetherness, it doesn't work. It just does not work.
Yeah, you got everybody on their own program, you know, rowing their own boat and instead of
going in circles.
Yeah, it's just, and it happens. It happens sometimes, you know, with injuries, or it happens, you know, you get a little disjointed. Guys can get a little selfish in this game sometimes, and I think sometimes it happens when you're so far under 500 and you're trying to find something to play for. And the worst thing you can do is play for yourself, but sometimes that's where you get stuck. You're eliminated from the playoffs in July, basically, and you're trying to find a reason to show up to the ballpark and be motivated and go out there and give everything you got. Obviously, you want to win every game you play, but it's a challenge.
And I always told guys when I was on teams, Justin, that, you know, we're out of it. Clearly just completely out of it. I'm like, fellas, it's easy to check out. It's harder to lock in. It's easier to check out. Remember, you're playing for next year. You're playing for a job next year. You're auditioning right now. Keep that in mind. And I think a lot of times that kept the guys focused.
Early in my career, there was a particularly dysfunctional Boston Red Sox team. And the motto that followed them was 25 players, 25 cabs. Back in the day when players took cabs back and forth from the hotel to restaurants, whatever. 3-2. Foul back. And Larnach, to some degree, and I don't mean this as an insult, he just hasn't been here, kind of the forgotten guy, only because the Twins sent him down early in the season as Kirilloff was working his way back into the lineup, and they sent him down when he was the team leader in runs batted in. He was a big guy for the Twins, a big bat in their lineup, and early in the season when they needed a big bat. They weren't getting many big hits. A strikeout here, one down, and that'll bring up Luplow.
Yeah, I think that was something else Rocco talked about last night, was it's not everyone who's here on the 28-man roster now that we're in September, but guys, we're giving credit to the guys who have come back and forth between AAA and the guys who have, you know, been here for even a week and helped win a ball game or two. It's been not only the guys in the dugout, it's been some of the guys who are on the injured list, but then also some guys who are still in St. Paul.
It's a collective group, man. It's a group effort.
Popped up almost right on top of home plate. Luplow's down. He's one of those guys too. Gotten some big hits for the Twins, particularly against left-handed pitching.
Well, it's going to be interesting to me. We were talking about Vasquez and who starts game one behind the plate of the playoffs. I think it obviously depends a lot on the pitching matchup and who maybe like catching certain guys. But do you go with the veteran who's got World Series experience, or do you go with the guy who's, you know, had a better year offensively, who's really grown catching wise? That's one of the big decisions I think that's going to be made between now and game one.
I think you have to lean towards whichever who's starting. You know, who Pablo is more comfortable with behind the plate. It could be both guys, and then you'll concede to who's swinging the bat better, what he's done against the starting pitcher from the other team, things like that.
Cut off in short right field. Stefanik makes the play to get the speedy Stevenson. Twins are done in the second. He was the winner in last night's clinching game. We'll have a visit with Pablo Lopez when we come back.
This is Garrett Cole. This is Christopher Russo. And this is the High Heat Hot Seat. Garrett Cole plays hard, so he doesn't end up here. High Heat with Christopher Russo, helping players play harder on MLB Network.
Jeremy Peña, the world champion shortstop with movie star presencia.
Every Dominican wants to grow up and play baseball, bro. When I was 13, I was like, the plan is to get to the big leagues. I love seeing young Dominicans win, bro, because I'm an old Dominican. Tú sabes que el dominicano que juega, todo el mundo juega pelota. Claro. I was just looking forward to playing again, man. This is going to be a fun year. Salud a la vida más linda. Salud, hermano.
Sunday, from home plate to fashion plate. Go behind the seams on Inside Stitch at 11 Eastern. Then baseball cards take center stage. Join Greg Amsinger for a look at all things cardboard on MLB's Carded at 11:30. Sunday on MLB Network.
To some, this is a race. To others, this is. And this, well, you get the idea. But there's no better race than a pennant race.
It's amazing to watch.
And nobody prepares you like MLB Tonight.
Inside the park we go.
With live look-ins to all the big games and breakdowns from TV's best baseball analysts.
There's a million things going on.
It can come at you fast.
You got to take these games one at a time.
You'll be up to speed, just like these guys.
You think so?
I do.
I can't agree more. We're in a pennant race.
MLB Tonight, every night on MLB Network.
Made the start last night. Gave the Twins a quality start. 5 of the 6 innings were outstanding. And he and the rest of your Minnesota Twins are headed to the postseason as American League Central champs. And Pablo, nice enough to join us. Pablo, what'd that feel like last night? You get a chance to be on the top step and watch the final out, knowing that you will be pitching for the Twins in the postseason.
No, that was a lot of fun. I made sure that after I was done pitching, I went inside, did all my stuff, but then I came right back out, and I was here for the entire 9th inning, and you could feel like, you know, like that feeling where every single pitch matter, like high leverage situation. That's exactly what it's going to feel like, or even more than that. So just extremely happy and excited to be doing it as a Twin and with this group of guys.
Yeah, there's nothing better than that. Congratulations. And I guess we were just talking about Vasquez and Jeffers behind the plate, 2 quality big league catchers. And, you know, is there one guy that, does it matter to you who you're throwing to? Is there anything, either one of those guys, or is it more of a group effort?
No, it's more of a group effort. Obviously, you know, like as individuals, there's certain things that they do better, like, you know, like some like special skills. Like Vasquez is so good at like picking up things that are happening. Like he's been doing it for so long, and like he's got 2 World Series and all that, so he picks up on a lot of stuff that's happening during an at-bat. And then Jeffers is so diligent and thoughtful with like the way he prepares, like the reports he writes, and like he just like he knows like pitches to throw in each count, like where the damage that the batter does, so like we can avoid those spots, or like capitalize on the best spots that we can go to. So like they're both really good at their own set of skills.
Hey Pablo, congratulations. LaTroy, hey, was it a calculated, did you plan that out to, you know, dump those beers on Audra's head last night?
I was on a mission last night. I was just making sure that everyone that was in the clubhouse that's part of the team felt like part of the team. And she was there looking with her hair all perfect, her makeup all perfect. And I'm like, something's missing right here. So.
Great job, man. That was pretty cool. I think we're going to show it. That's awesome. Pablo, there's one thing that I heard last night. I didn't have a beer, but I heard it was the coldest beer that a lot of guys had ever had.
3-2. Pablo, what will your workload be like, or how will you prepare for that first start in the postseason? You'll have one more start left, I presume, right?
Yes, sir.
And so just business as usual, or are you going to do anything different to get ready for that first playoff game?
No, nothing will change. Just business as usual. Do my routine in between starts that will remain the same. My weightlifting, my throwing routines, my running in between, like everything will stay the same, because like not because like we're looking forward to like a playoff start means that we have to do. It doesn't mean that we have to start doing things differently. So just making sure that we're just doing the thing that's been working for 32 starts.
One down was Shanuel finally striking out. Audra, where are you?
Yeah, Pablo, turn around. I'm giving you the side eye over here. Just wanted to tell you I blame you for my 3 hours of sleep last night. 3 or 4 deep conditioning hair treatments later, I was finally able to go to bed. But no, congratulations. And I do thank you for bringing me into the celebration last night. You were the best.
I cannot relate to anything hair related, just so you know.
Me either, Pablo.
Hey, yeah. Pablo, we mentioned it a few starts ago. In the minor leagues, you met a young lady who became your wife, and she's kind of from Twins territory, West Liberty, Iowa, right?
Yes, sir. West Liberty, Iowa. We met at the Cedar Rapids Cardinal Stadium, but I was playing as a Lumber King.
Right.
Beautiful. I got a question for you. Do you think throwing opening day will prepare you for throwing either first or second game of the playoffs? Right now kind of lines up with game 1. So I think we're all kind of anticipating that. Do you think throwing opening day gets you ready for the adrenaline that's going to come with that playoff start?
You know, it's definitely the closest I've felt to like pitching in an environment like that in the major league, in the major league level. A lot of emotions, a lot of butterflies. But you know what I think gave me that big feeling was pitching in the WBC, because I'd never played winter ball before, and like I used to hear stories of like such a short season, like every pitch matter. You were out there like just competing, and like pitching in the WBC, especially in a game against Puerto Rico. I don't know, like that environment, that feeling, just like it made me feel like really, really good about competing in like that kind of like spot, that big situation. So yeah, and then that plus the opening day star, like it's definitely been a lot of fun.
Talked about Vasquez having a pretty good feel for what to call behind the plate. 5 strikeouts for Gray, 4 of them now looking. The first 3 were on breaking balls, and then hitters looking for a breaking ball, and gives them the fastball for a call, third strike.
Freeze him, and I think, Pablo, do you feel like, you and Sonny at the top of this rotation, the veteran guys, you feel like you're pushing each other and making each other better at all, kind of watching each other saying, I'm going to do a little bit better than what he did yesterday?
100%, 100%. So, like in baseball, they say hitting is contagious, and I feel like pitching is also very contagious, I get to watch Sonny throw his bullpens and being the competitor that he is, and I get to pick up on a lot of stuff. I get so much good information from him because he's been doing this for so long, and like he goes out there and like he does his thing. I'm like, I want to do that, like if I can do it a little better, I'm gonna try to do it a little better. Everything in a healthy competition kind of way.
And so with his great breaking ball, he's had that seemingly since he stepped foot in the big leagues. You added that sweeper this year. Is he one guy that you picked his brain about, grips or, how to throw certain pitches?
Yes. So like you said, I think Sonny Gray can spin a breaking ball out of bed. He wakes up already spinning a sweeper and a curveball. So the moment I started implementing that on my pitching arsenal, every time I hit a brick wall or I started running with some inconsistency, he was a good source of information to go to. Hey, Sonny, I feel like it's too depthy, it's not turning the way it's supposed to, and he's just he has so much good information to whether my thumb positioning, if I'm maybe you're overextending too much, maybe you're maybe you try to shorten your stride a little bit. So he, and like I said, we watch each other's bullpen, so he can sit behind me throwing a bullpen, and he's it's looking this way, why don't you try this, why don't you shift your eyes a little bit to this side of the play, move the catch, play with the catcher positioning, having to put the catcher's mitt in a different, I don't know, a different target. So he's been such a tremendous help with anything breaking ball related.
Flip foul, 2 quick strikes and a ball.
That's beautiful. It's almost like having another pitching coach down there, a guy who knows exactly what you're feeling. He can almost feel you, back up the breaking ball or not have that release point, and it's that instant feedback that he's gotten. You guys are pushing each other, but you're helping each other as well. I think it's a great thing to have, and I think we're fortunate to have you guys at the top of this rotation. It's been great to watch all year, and hopefully throughout the entire month of October.
Yeah.
Hey, Pablo,
nice.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again on last night, and great luck in the playoffs as well.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Pablo Lopez, nice enough to join us. Grichuk's double left the board. We're still scoreless.
MLB Tonight, the ultimate late-night baseball party. See the night's biggest moments, the best interviews.
We all love DJ Dan.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best.
This one takes the cake. That is awesome.
MLB Tonight, late nights on MLB Network.
Covering a full night of baseball is a team effort, and it all starts right here with Harold and Adnan on MLB Tonight's First Pitch.
Who's ready for baseball?
It's time for the first pitch.
We're about 25 minutes from game time. I'm so excited.
Our quick hitters right out of the gate. During the games, we take you to the games where you might see a lot.
Greg, we have a potential walk-off at Wrigley.
No way. What's going on?
Oh, they've got a runner at third, and Nico Horner's up.
Here's a pitch.
Base hit. Nico rocks it out. Cubs win.
Cubs win. And after the games, we're all about instant highlights and player reactions.
Nico, congratulations. Your first career walk-off hit. How did that one feel?
Oh, man, it's as good as it gets. An amazing crowd here tonight. Wrigley Field is a very special place. We're feeling good right now, for sure.
And that's how this team covers every team. All in a night's work on MLB Tonight.
Scoreless after 2.5. Make sure you're here at Target Field for the energy and excitement of the postseason. Full 2023 postseason tickets on sale now And your only way to guarantee access to all potential 2023 Twins home playoff games at Target Field. Secure your spot. Visit twins.com/postseason. Swing on a miss by Solano. He'll be followed by Julian and Farmer. And before we get off topic here on other things, I want to share with you a Pablo Lopez story that happened last night. We showed you, our crew, I thought, did a great job covering the celebration both on the field and in the clubhouse. Thank you to LaTroy and Audra for the interviews and all of that. But the Twins had a reception for their employees, the rank and file people, just beyond the clubhouse down in the first base lounge. So I felt a little more comfortable there, and so that's where I went. And everybody's just having a great time. People were drinking champagne, not spraying it around the room, drinking beer, not pouring it on each other's heads. And it was just a fun time. And then all of a sudden, who walked in but Pablo Lopez, who left his celebration in the clubhouse because he wanted to thank the Twins employees for their role in what has become now officially a championship season. Driven to the right field corner and foul. And that's who Pablo Lopez is. We see the pitcher, and that's the player. But I just thought it was awesome that the starting pitcher that night went to where the staff was, the employees were, to thank them for their role in this. And again, that's who he is. He's more than a baseball player.
Sometimes in an organization you get that one player that's he's conscious of the community, he's conscious of the people that work at the stadium, he's conscious of his teammates, and when you get that, it's like a breath of fresh air, because a lot of time, most of the time, it doesn't happen. It's not the fact that the players don't care, it's just they get locked in their own world, and he's not locked into his own world. He's opening up his world to making sure that everybody gets a chance to celebrate with the Twins.
Solano having quite a battle here with Rosenberg, still 3-2.
Well, you said it earlier, so much teams talk about building a culture and bringing in good people. You want to bring in good people also that are winners. I think it's a hard balance.
Laced. Oh, what a stop by Fletcher. And he throws him out. That ball, a bullet off the bat of Solano, and a full-out dive by Fletcher turns it into an out.
Wow, 104 off the bat. I don't know how he got a good throw off on this as well as how he finishes this play. The Allstate Mayhem moment. Going full out and then throwing from his backside, but then making a perfect one-hop throw. Good long bounce for that first baseman. Just
ball was smoked. You see, he kind of caught it behind him as he dove.
Julian taps the first pitch foul.
Yeah, 104. That was the 6th 3-ball count. So they've been running up that pitch count. At some point, you're hoping to get him in these deep counts and then make them pay. Get him a little fatigued, get some mistakes.
Fletcher kind of reminds me of Eckstein a little bit. It's not flashy, very effective.
Languishing in their minor league system this year. Pretty solid ball player. And on 3 pitches, Julian is gone. 2 away now for Farmer. Well, the Twins got through it. The dancing on the field, the mayhem in the clubhouse. And it's a joyous time, but maybe I'm the only one. I look at celebrations now worrying that everybody's going to be okay, right? After what happened to Diaz in the WBC.
Or Denny Hocking.
Denny Hocking in the playoffs. But somebody stepped on his foot or his hand, right?
Yep.
Kendrys Morales stomping on home plate, landing on somebody's foot, forever changing the arc of his career. But as far as we know, everybody got through the celebration without injury last night.
I don't even. Was there a dog pile? I didn't.
No, it was more of a jumping around. And
okay. Because I didn't.
Group hug.
Didn't get a chance to see it.
Tap foul 1 and 2.
I just love the talk about we're doing this a few more times. I think this is the first step, and I think, you know, sometimes in those celebrations you want to enjoy it, but you don't want to overdo it. You want to save it so it can grow each time, and hopefully that's the case. This group is capable of that, I think.
Deep to the right field corner, but foul. And let's be fair about this. It stood out last night because, you know, the Twins haven't won a playoff series since that first series in 02 when the Twins beat the Oakland A's, and that was on the road. But every playoff series you win, you get to try to outdo what happened last night. Farmer to center, and that ball is misplayed by Adele, and Farmer will have a base hit.
He's 0 for his last 20. That ball gets caught, but he's been swinging and that ball falls. It's just amazing how this game works. You can barrel stuff up and it ends up in somebody's glove, and then this ball kind of knuckled on him and just dropped late. And the outfielders will tell you that line drive right at you is the hardest play for them to make. And he obviously expects himself to make that play, but that'll be a hit.
I always remember thinking about that 0-2 series against Oakland, Dick, and you know, we finished off the series in their ballpark, but that game 4 in our ballpark where we packed our bags, and it was either we're packing them to go home or we're packing them to go to Oakland again to play that game 5, and we were able to win that game, and that was a pretty good celebration. You know, it was short-lived because we had to get on the plane and fly back to Oakland, but that was pretty impressive in front of our home crowd.
1-0 to Michael A. Taylor. Farmer's now reached in 7 straight plate appearances with 3 walks, 2 singles, 3 singles, and a double. That ends the 3rd.
Doors take us places, to new adventures, planned and unplanned. They lead to goals and connect us to family.
I didn't get the part.
Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors.
I did get waiter number 2.
Because they know you. They can help you create a comprehensive plan for your full financial picture and personalized money management with the right balance of risk and reward. Doors were meant to be opened.
When we started Warby Parker, we just sold glasses, and only online. But people liked them a lot. So we offered more things, like sunglasses and contacts. And then we thought, what if we sold eyewear online and in stores? So we did that. And now we have stores in neighborhoods all over. There you can chat with friendly opticians and get eye exams from top-notch doctors. Now, no matter where you go, we've got your eyes covered.
Let's talk about ED. As you get a little older, things tend to work a little differently.
I felt shame, embarrassment, guilt.
Like something had been knocked out from underneath me. What HIMS does is says, hey, look, don't worry about it. We got this part covered. 100% online.
The whole process was very discreet.
It made me feel like I'm a rock star.
This product has changed my life.
When it kicked in, I said, yeah, I'm back. I remember this feeling.
Get started today at 4hims.com.
Two Toyota pitchers duel so far this afternoon at the ballpark. 3 hits surrendered by Sonny Gray so far to go with 6 strikeouts as well. He has not given up a free pass, but with the 3 scoreless innings, his ERA is down a tick to 2.80. But Kenny Rosenberg countering with 3 scoreless innings of his own. He's allowed 3 hits, but he's also given up 2 walks, has 4 strikeouts so far. So Sonny Gray goes back to work, building off what's been a great start so far, guys.
Yeah, it'll be Joe Adele leading off the 4th for the Angels. We had Lopez with us, Pablo Lopez with us before. He's 10th in the American League in earned run average. So if you're just a baseball fan, you have no allegiance. The ball lifted deep to left center field toward the bullpen and gone. A home run for Joe Adele, his 3rd of the year. Not easy to hit one out against Sonny Gray. That's just his 8th home run allowed this year.
Well, Sonny Gray's done a great job so far this season keeping the ball in the ballpark. Sonny and Joe Adele just jumped on the first pitch, and he has that type of power. Give his team a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, maybe looking for an opportunity to make up for what was a little bit of a misplay in center field that last half inning, and didn't end up costing him a run, but a play I'm sure he'd like to make, and he's able to come out and do something positive in his next at bat.
Escobar tries to put the first pitch in play, fouling it back. Of all the home run celebrations, that's the one that's puzzling me the most, whatever that is that they wear.
I believe it's a samurai helmet.
Is that what it is? Okay. Probably because of Ohtani, who hit half the team's home runs when he was active. Grounded to second, one away. Fishing vest is a natural thing for the Twins. And I get the hockey helmet in Detroit because the owner of the Tigers is also the owner of the Red Wings. The trident that the Mariners have, I like that one. That was part of their logo for a long time.
I like Cincinnati. I like the Viking.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have told us this 20 years ago that we'd be having this conversation and that we like these things.
No chance. No chance, Justin.
But now I do. The fact that it's in the clubhouse or in the dugout and you guys are sharing it and whatever, as long as you're not showing up your opponent, I'm fine. It brings guys together. You have fun with it.
You know, I don't think there was ever a time, not many times, guys were showing up the opponent. Like baseball, we always had the stigma of like, all right, you got to do it this way, and you can't celebrate your highs. You know, like,
even keel and all that.
Even keel the whole time, and understand how hard it is to go through a lineup and throw 7 shutout innings in the big leagues to hit a home run. It's hard to do.
Liner hit right to Farmer, 2 away.
And you work this hard to get to be a major leaguer and to be good at your job, but you can't celebrate it when you have success. That whole process of thinking just doesn't make sense to me.
Whatever happened to the home run robe that the Twins had when Nelly Cruz was here?
Well, it was only a few games that we had it and kind of disappeared. It was interesting.
Bouncer to short. Farmer with the throw on target to Luplow. First pitch of the inning. Hammered over the fence for a home run, and it only took Sonny Gray 6 more to finish the inning.
Abuelita, my father, my whole family, and Grand Canyon University made me the man I am today. Hi, Tia. I think I'm gonna do Grand Canyon University's online program and get my master's degree.
Trata de llevar a tu familia en el corazón y lograrás lo que tú quieres. Estoy muy orgullosa de ti.
I have an announcement, so I'm going to get my master's degree online at Grand Canyon University.
Find your purpose at GCU.
Why pay over $100 a month for cable when it's half the cost for Fubo TV? Get all the channels you want on the only live TV streaming service rated #1 in customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. Try free at FuboTV.com.
With the Game Time app, I paid 60% less than this guy. What? And it's not just sports tickets. It's also concerts. Performances, too.
Oh, come on!
Download Game Time. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Sure, you'll teach her how to drive a car. Then use Greenlight to power her independence with crash detection with 911 dispatch, family location sharing, and emergency SOS alerts. Invest in your best investment with Greenlight.
Minnesota Twins baseball on Valley Sports North is brought to you by Luther Auto. Shop the Twin Cities' largest selection of vehicles at lutherauto.com. And by Grand Casino. Let your story begin. 1-0 Angels. When the Angels tied the game in the 5th inning last night. Twins in their half of the 6th inning took the lead back right away. We'll see how they can respond now. Down 1-0. It'll be Walner, Vasquez, and Larney.
It was interesting talking to the Angels people before the game, do a little homework, a little unfamiliar with Rosenberg, and said, you look up and all of a sudden will be the 5th inning and he's still in the game. And it's kind of, he struggled with some walks and control early. But you look up and he's pitching deeper into this game, hasn't given up any runs, only given up 3 hits, and able to navigate the little bit of trouble, traffic that he's had.
2 walks, 4 strikeouts. But again, that changeup is the equalizer.
All right, so we've seen him a little bit now, and whenever I see a lefty, can't throw particularly hard. I think of the Dallas Keuchels of the world. This guy's only got a handful of days in the major league service time, but big day today for Dallas Keuchel, celebrating his 10th anniversary in the big leagues. And I confirmed with you guys again, I'm oblivious to it because I'm not a player, but the 10-year mark's a pretty big deal, isn't it?
It's a huge deal. Sonny Gray hit it earlier this year.
Close pitch taken for ball 3.
Yeah, these are rough numbers, so no angry tweets, but somewhere around 23,000 players in the history of the game, and it's a little over 1,100 get to 10 years. So the percentage of getting to the big leagues, number one, how hard it is, but then making it 10 years is absolutely, it's mind-boggling sometimes to just think of what it takes to last this long at the big league level. And it's a badge of honor once you get there.
Scalded to right. Hooking foul.
We were 4 days in the year I signed with Colorado, 4 days in, and came back to my locker and had a nice little bottle of champagne sitting there. Cuddy, Michael Goodire set that up and walked back, and me being the ornery person I was, we lost the game, so I wasn't really too happy, but bottle of champagne still found its way to disappear. But
and Walter Newitt started walking away before Chad Fairchild rung him up.
And as a position, I mean, as a player, there are 3 things you start to look for when you, 3 milestones you look for when you come to the major leagues: arbitration, free agency, and then that golden egg is, getting your 10 years of full service time.
Yeah, as far as the personal stuff goes, I want to get here, I want to stay here, and life changes kind of pretty rapidly throughout that time. But to continue to be a good enough teammate person to get those opportunities, the perseverance, I give Dallas a lot of credit. I mean, the difference between travel and life at the big league level, between the difference and everything that happens in minor leagues, I know it's gotten better, but it's still
the minor leagues
light years ahead in the big leagues, and the difference in just the way everything is, riding the bus, commercial air travel. And I know people at home are rolling their eyes going, all right, you guys are spoiled. And it's true, you're spoiled in the big leagues because you have everything. If you need something done, there's someone there to take care of it.
Is it being spoiled, or is something you work so hard to get there? These are the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
It's not being spoiled.
I'm not necessarily in an insulting way, but just you're right, the fruits of the labor, it's incredible. You're at the top of the world in your profession, and you get to enjoy that part of it. But the fact that Dallas went back and he was in the minor leagues and earned his way back up to the big leagues is impressive. And now he hit that milestone, and I've talked to him about it a couple times in the last few weeks, and he is extremely proud to get there. He was counting down the days. He knew exactly when this was coming. I mean, it's such an accomplishment. And I'll say it again. He went down there, he fought his way back to the big leagues, and he proved that he belongs, and now he's here, and he's a presence on this team, and he's a guy who's taken whatever role he's been asked to be put in, and he's here, and he's happy to be a part of it, and congratulations to him.
Vasquez with another battle here, and another base hit. Done a little bit of a roll himself here. Battled through the at-bat, got a base hit. It's a 1-out single, and that'll bring up Larnach.
8 3-ball counts. So they're running some deep counts. They're seeing a lot of pitches. You're thinking second time through the order, if they get to face him a third time, then I feel like these guys are going to have some really good at-bats. They've seen that changeup. They've had a couple of looks at it. They know what his fastball is going to do. Farmer and Vasquez both with 2 hits each.
Oh, dancing at second base. And just to piggyback what you're saying about that, one of the times I was on minor league rehab, and I was sitting in my locker and I was thinking about how much of a humbling experience it is to be in the big leagues for so long and having to go back and rehab. And I thought to myself, I know it's crazy, but
here's a drive, right center field, deep and off the wall. Caught at the wall. Caught in right field by Walsh, and Vasquez had to hustle his way back. And Larnach tattooed that ball, but it never got out or never even got to the wall.
It's a good swing off a lefty. A little cutter. Looked good coming off, and Walsh went back on it. Thought this thing was going to go at least halfway up that scoreboard. Vasquez, good job of heads-up base run. He ran past the bag, was making his turn, and then touched the base on the way back to first base. Yeah, we thought we were extra bases right there.
Everybody got excited in the booth with me. Jeez.
Strike one.
It's a lesson for the kids at home with Vasquez running around second. He made sure after he caught the ball, he touched second on his way back to first base.
Luplow takes in the dirt. So when you got the bottle of champagne, that was good stuff, like Dom Perignon, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And it just
only the finest, Dick. Only the finest.
I know, and it caused me to have a flashback because when I had my 10th anniversary as a broadcaster, I got a can of Coors Light from Burt Blyleven. It was kind of the same thing.
Well, Hall of Fame drink, right?
Yeah,
there.
that's right. Popped up. Short center field. Stefanik with the catch, and the Angels hang on to that 1-0 lead.
You wanted more speed? We've got you covered. More action? More runs? Oh, yeah. More leather coming right up. Pound for pound, this is the best baseball you've ever seen.
Covering a full night of baseball is a team effort, and it all starts right here with MLB Tonight's first pitch.
Let's go to the ballpark to get a chance to look around a little bit.
A match between the best teams in the National League going head-to-head.
During the games, we take you to the games where you might see a live walk-off. And after the games, we want to hear from the players as bad as you do.
First career walk-off hit. How did that one feel?
Man, it's as good as it gets.
And that's how this team covers every team on MLB Tonight.
Six strikeouts for Sonny Gray, 4 of them looking, 3 of them on the sweeper.
He has so many weapons. He has so many ways that he can get you out, and how he gets there is different almost every time. He doesn't really fall into too many patterns. You know, he'll set you up with a running fastball if you're a right-handed hitter, that sinker up under the hands, and then that might be the only one you see to hit if you face him 2 or 3 times. And it's so hard to follow his sequences.
That's definitely the key to his success. There is no pattern. He's going to throw anything at any time, and he's going to throw it until you show him that you can hit it.
Might sound redundant, but by the second time through the order, he's shown everybody that he will throw any of his pitches for strikes. And I'm guessing as a hitter, you can't dismiss any of his pitches because of his command.
And not even a changeup, man. We hadn't seen, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 changeups.
Well,
I know he has it, and it's back in your mind, so it makes you that just much more indecisive on pulling the trigger.
But it's not like you want to go up there and sit breaking ball off him. It's a high spin breaking ball. It's got good movement to it. You know, you can look for it. Doesn't mean necessarily going to get one to hit.
And you might get 15 inches of horizontal movement. You might get 19.
And that one right there, 83 miles an hour sweeper, bottom corner of the strike zone. I know you got 2 strikes. You're not sitting on a pitch there, but it's something that he locates him most of the time in that area. And I think a lot of times we overthink things as hitters, because most of the time if you're looking fastball and a guy hangs a breaking ball, you're going to hammer it anyway. Your eyes light up and you see that thing rolling up there in the middle of the zone. So I think sometimes we sit on pitches when we don't need to. Either it's not a good pitch to hit, and I think that's, you know, it's that battle you constantly fight of do I go up there, this guy's best pitch is his sweeper, or his best pitch is his changeup, or whatever it is. He's going to throw it 40% of the time. I'm going to see one, but am I actually going to do anything with it? Do I even want to swing at that pitch? And I think that's a decision you have to make with Sonny. And
And he got smoked. I think on the glove side.
Hopefully that was glove. It's not acting like he got him in the ankle. A little smile on his face, so I think that's the case.
Yep, all the glove.
All glove.
So
hit him in a good spot.
You want to be a pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you've asked me position players pitch. You want to pitch? Absolutely not.
Give me an L screen.
Yeah.
I saw you pitching without an L screen before.
I'll never forget at the fantasy camp. You know, and I thought we were friends. I thought, you know, I've covered you guys. I admired you as players. I thought there would be some mutual respect there. And I'm pitching in a fantasy camp game, and you and Torrey Hunter are heckling me from behind home plate.
Just wanted to see how you respond to the pressure from, you know, a little heckling. You responded well. You responded well.
We won't give the final score, but I pitched a complete game that day.
Shutout?
We won't give the final score, but I pitched a complete game that day.
Rain after 2 or what?
I saw a couple guys with
liner to Julian 2 away. The worst thing that happened to me in the fantasy camp, I'll read this thing first. Experience the fun and excitement of postseason games with your group, big or small. Postseason tickets for groups of 10 or more are available now for potential wild card games at Target Field. Don't miss out on the chance to build postseason memories with your group. Go to twins.com/groups or text groups to 51655 and organize your outing today. It was about 20 years ago in the fantasy camp, and I came to the plate and I struck out with A.J. Pierzynski watching. 10 pitches in that inning, a 1-2-3-5.
Watch games and coverage all day, every day, your way on MLB Network. MLB Tonight, the ultimate late-night baseball party.
Oh, man.
With live look-ins to the night's biggest moments.
How hot was that?
That's money.
What?
The best interviews.
I've never asked a player, do you need a blanket? It is kind of cold out there.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best former players fresh off the field.
Get your hands up.
There's nothing quite like MLB Tonight.
This is going to be a big deal tonight.
This one takes the cake.
That is awesome.
MLB Tonight, late nights on MLB Network.
Continued in the clubhouse today, all thanks to Dallas Keuchel and his impressive 10 years of service achievement. The milestone he reached today. In the clubhouse, the team presented him with a very nice bottle of Pappy Van Winkle while wearing these very glamorous beards in his honor. When I talked to Dallas earlier today, he said that it is something that has been on his mind the last couple of years, especially when things hadn't been going the way that he would have liked. And knowing that less than 10% of players ever reached the 10-year milestone, Rocco Baldelli said it's one of those things where you have to keep in mind that it's actually an achievement that is 20, 30, sometimes 40 years in the making. And in terms of the beards, guys, those were thanks to his wife, Kelly, who sent them to the club earlier this week. And Dallas said he showed up today. A couple of the guys were actually wearing them. He was confused at first, especially because he saw Emilio Pagan wearing one with his hood up. He didn't recognize him. He's like, what is going on? It took him a second, but then finally he was like, oh yeah, it's a milestone day. And so he was very appreciative of the gesture.
Very nice. That's a nice look, Audra. It's not as dark as Dallas's beard.
That's why he was confused.
2 strikes to Stevenson, and now a Tapper foul.
I know we talked about it last inning, but it is truly an accomplishment there. I think most guys tell you when they're 12 or when they're drafted or when they're wherever, they say, I just want to make it one day in the big league so I can tell everyone I was a big leaguer. And then all of a sudden you go, I want to stick around here as long as I can. And then you hear about this 10-year thing and you go, yeah, I'll take that.
Stevenson can fly, and he'll get an infield hit. Might be his best tool as a baseball player, his speed. And he put it on the ground, got it by the pitcher for a leadoff hit.
Well, this is understanding who you are as a hitter and the importance of being able to put the ball in play and put pressure on the defense, force them to make a play. I think even if he comes up with this, I don't think he would have had him. But just almost a little Ichiro on the end there, kind of running out of the box as he makes contact with the ability to put it in play and try and make something happen, at least to hopefully a run.
Well, the good thing is he understands what his tool is, and that's his legs. And you can't help if you're striking out. Just put the ball in play and you got a chance.
He stole a base against a lefty a couple weeks ago, and I went up to him the next day. Said, does it make any difference to you at all, right-handed, left-handed? And he said no. He says he does his studying video work as a base runner, watching pitchers. Now maybe Rosenberg doesn't have the time in the big leagues to have a long video file, but Stevenson has done his homework, and he may take off here even though Rosenberg is a lefty. And it'll be Wallach coming to the mound here after Solano's taken a timeout. Quick trip to the mound, maybe talking about Stevenson's ability or eagerness to steal, whether it's a righty on the mound or a lefty.
Well, then pair it with Solano's ability, as we've seen, to use the entire field. They're playing him up the middle with the entire right side of the field's open. I'm interested to see if he tries to shoot something here. I can't imagine. We don't see hit and runs very often anymore, but the fact that he's behind in the count, it's 0-1. If he does take off, I could see Donnie just trying to let that ball travel, see if they get a first or third.
Instead, a fly ball to center, hit right at Adele. So that's the first out, and with Julian coming to the plate, maybe a little more apt to have Stevenson try at least to steal second base.
But that swing right there, either he was looking change up or he was just thinking through the right side, because he let that ball get deep. It was a pitch in and he fought it off to the middle of the field. That's an approach right there. Looked like he was trying to do something, make a big inning happen.
Julian with a walk and a strikeout against Rosenberg. Grounder left side. They'll get 1 and 2. Well, Rosenberg faces just 3 men, and the Angels still have a 1-0 lead.
And he can pick it.
You wanted more speed? We've got you covered. More action? More runs? Oh, yeah. More leather coming right up. Pound for pound, this is the best baseball you've ever seen.
MLB Tonight, the ultimate late-night baseball party.
Oh, man.
With live look-ins to the night's biggest moments.
How hot was that?
That's money.
What?
The best interviews.
I've never asked a player, do you need a blanket? It is kind of cold out there.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best former players fresh off the field.
Get your hands up.
There's nothing quite like MLB Tonight.
This is going to be a big deal tonight.
This one takes the cake.
That is awesome.
MLB Tonight, late nights on MLB Network.
Well, this is what it looks like when you make this play right here. Watch how he fields this ball off his right foot. So he works to get there, to get it off the center of his body to make a little quicker exchange. You can play this as a backhand, or you can do what he did, but because he's got such great hands and they work so well for him, he's able to go get that ball, get himself in a position to make that throw as he's catching it. Good feed and then a double play. Getting Julian, who's been dealing with that tight hammy, maybe going about 85 down the line, just making sure that he's able to go back out there and finish this game and be healthy for the rest of the year.
85 meaning 85%.
Yeah. It's a tough thing as a player. Your instincts kick in. I want to beat this thing out.
Meanwhile, you saw, if you were looking at second base, the closest thing you will see these days to a takeout slide.
Yes. Stevenson, you're right. He got, I mean, it looks like the throw was a little floated over there, so it kind of threw off the timing just a little bit. It gave Stevenson an opportunity to get down on the second baseman. But yeah, it's legal. He slid right into the bag. But you don't see it a lot anymore.
It's about all he can do, and he did it well, and may have very well disrupted a double play chance in the process, but it didn't happen. Nice job by second baseman Stefanik staying in there. Now ground ball to the left side, and Solano head high over to Luplow, one away. One down. I want to show a replay involving Julian too, that involved the last out last night. Now we've talked about the fielding drills that all the infielders do. Down on one knee, little short fungos hit to the forehand side, backhand side, and everybody does it. And it's a nice fielding drill. And I think what we saw last night to end the game was the result of Julian every day working with Tony Diaz to try to get that bounce right in the pocket, but also having soft enough hands to be able to field a ball like the chopper that ended the game last night. We'll show it to you here shortly.
Yeah, it's a short hop, long hop. Basically, you're trying to get a short hop and cut it off, or you're trying to get a big hop. And see that glove? He gives with it a little bit, but the soft hands, that's coming to get it, recognizing that hop, came up on him just a little bit late. But because he works on that, these guys are out here every day working on that, doing that drill. A lot of it one knee, two knee, getting down into this routine. And it's a little bit different, tailored kind of to each guy. We asked Tony about that earlier in the year. We did that infield special, the pregame show, and the fielding special. And each guy kind of has areas where they want to improve, and they specifically work with each guy to try and get better. And he's put in a ton of work, and he's got a lot of pride. And when you're told something as an athlete, either you don't do this well or don't do that well, you want to prove people wrong, and he's trying to prove people wrong.
Asked Rocco Baldelli about his improved fielding, and Rocco said, yeah, he's noticed it this year, but he only has seen Julian play this year. Those who've tracked him through the minor leagues have talked about how much he's improved over the last couple years because he's able and willing to work at it. 2-2.
The only way you get better at this level is you continue to work at it.
Well, Justin, I know you worked hard as a first baseman. Corey Koski, the legend has it. Well, it wasn't legend, it's true. Ron Gardenhire in the wintertime just worked him out over at the University of Minnesota in the off season, trying to get him to be a better infielder, and Corey developed into one of the better third basemen in the league.
You're tying all the Canadians together.
It's that great Canadian work ethic. Yeah.
Yeah, stone hands. Sorry, Koski. You're listening.
We make great curlers. There you
go.
3-2
to Walsh.
But Koski told me when I first came up, he said the Metrodome was too fast for him to take ground balls at third base on that old turf, that he would take ground balls at short live off the bat to try and get better.
Really?
He said it was too hard. He didn't have time to react, and he just worked and worked and worked. And I think that's what we're going to see from Julian. And I think once you get a label, it's hard to get away from it. I think I came up with that label, was trying to follow Doug Mankiewicz, who won a Gold Glove, and it was a stark contrast, obviously, when I first came up. But I didn't like that. Didn't like being told that I wasn't good at something.
Right.
I felt like I wanted to prove everybody wrong, and spent the rest of my career trying to prove that. I went from being a guy who got, much like Julian, who got replaced defensively late in ball games when I first came up, to being a guy that managers would trust to put in at first base late in ball games. So there's a lot of pride there.
Another breaking ball and another strikeout. Swinging strikeout on that breaking ball.
Another good Sweeper from Sonny Gray. You can see where this ball started at and where it ended. And Jared Walsh thought he had an opportunity to put the barrel to it. You can see that ball just running away from the barrel towards his back foot. Another strikeout for Sonny Gray.
Adele hit the first pitch of the 4th inning for a home run, the only run of the game so far. But I guess, and you touched on it, there's a guy, Julian, who routinely was taken out for a better defensive player. Now, all the injuries to the left side of the infield meant last night there weren't any infielders available to replace him. But along with that, I think there's increased confidence in the man out there in the field late in games.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if that's his first week in the big leagues, I'm not sure he makes that play, or he comes and gets it as aggressively as he did. I think maybe he waits back on it to make sure he catches it clean, kind of a little more methodical, slows the play down, tries not to make a mistake, and now he's playing with confidence, and he's starting to really understand the hops. He's starting to understand the hitters, how fast they are going down the line. You know, there's all those other things that play into it of how aggressive do I need to go after this ball, and he's starting to get that internal clock figured out, and so starting to trust his hands and seeing that work paying off.
And in that situation, bases loaded, full count, a 2-run lead. If that ball gets kicked, the game is tied. A different pitcher comes in. Duran's confidence is shaken even more. The fact of the matter is he got the save last night. He gave up 1 run. Joan Duran did, but he got the save. And admitted afterwards that, yeah, he had the butterflies. It was, you know, the biggest game he's ever been asked to close.
And I think that was a real good test, because every game in the playoffs is going to be like that, and it might not be a 3-run lead. It could be a 1-run lead. So he got a chance to feel that energy from the crowd. Just figuring out a way how to control your emotions, I think, is the biggest thing when you're in the playoffs, and being able to, you know, execute your pitches and just stay as calm as possible. Control the situation and not let the situation control you.
So would you say pitching the 9th inning of a ball game is very similar to when you were a starter of pitching the 1st inning of the ball game with the amount of adrenaline, or is it just completely different feel?
Completely different feel. When you're in there in the 9th inning, you usually don't have a lot of room for error.
2 more strikeouts on breaking pitches. A 1-2-3-6 for Sonny Gray.
This is Chris Bryant. This is Christopher Russo. And this is the High Heat Hot Seat. Chris Bryant plays hard so he doesn't end up here. High Heat with Christopher Russo, helping players play harder on MLB Network. This is Garrett Cole. This is Christopher Russo. And this is the High Heat Hot Seat. Garrett Cole plays hard so he doesn't end up here. High Heat with Christopher Russo, helping players play harder on MLB Network.
You wanted more speed? We've got you covered. More action? More runs? Oh, yeah. More leather coming right up. Pound for pound, this is the best baseball you've ever seen.
This is Christopher Russo. This is Joey Votto. And this is the High Heat Hot Seat. Christopher Russo plays hard so he doesn't end up here.
Must be nice to sit atop that Madison Avenue ivory tower looking down on us with those luscious locks. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're a disgrace.
High Heat with Christopher Russo.
It took me the last 2 weeks prepping for this interview. I didn't realize how much I love you. You are the best.
On MLB Network.
Health Partner Sports Update, an incredible year with Acuna, the 5th member of the 40-40 club, but that doesn't even do it justice. He's got 60 steals.
Closing in on 70. That's stuff we've seen the last few years with what Ohtani's done on the field and the mound, and just the individual seasons and the numbers. Some of the guys, Judge's year last year, there's been some just
monster years.
Yeah, it's incredible. Acuna especially coming back from that major injury. I mean, nobody knew that he was going to be able to run the way he has. And it's interesting, you know, next closest stolen bases, and just you look at everything else, you say, okay, the new bases and all that stuff. he'd still be 40-40 even if you didn't have these rules the way it's changed. He's stolen that much more than everyone else. It's incredible.
The Angels' new pitcher Jimmy Herget making his 27th appearance of the season. Last pitched on the 20th against Tampa, 2 innings. Got a sidearm type of release point. The curveball, slider, sinker, changeup, and four seam. I'm sure there's more sinkers to the right-hand hitters, more four seam to the left-hand hitters.
Farmer's reached 7 straight at bats, 3 singles, a double, and 3 walks. 1-1. Fouled away. One and two. Taylor and Wallner will follow. And a called third strike. That ends Farmer's successful at bat plate appearance string, 1 away. Herget doing a little Sonny Gray to Kyle Farmer, breaking ball.
Yeah, a little in between there. That 8th inning last night, he did ground out to third, so 2 for 2 today, but there was that little interruption in that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
On base streak.
As Taylor was squaring to bunt, he had to step toward the plate because the pitch was behind him.
I don't know how he got out of the way of this thing. Which way do I go?
It looked like it hit him. Whatever's sticking out of his back pocket, the base running mitt or whatever, looks like it might have brushed that.
It's pretty impressive.
Up and in.
I actually like that pitch. For one behind him by mistake, it was a breaking ball. In the hitter's mind, oh, he's going to go away. He doubled up inside.
Two and 0. And now 3-0.
Herget has a lot of arm side run because of the arm angle that he has.
And there's a strike.
When you have guys with that arm angle, that's the toughest pitch for them to execute, is to strike down and away to a right-hand hitter, glove side for them.
Gap in right center field. Adele makes the catch on the warning track.
Well, high of 70, I think 71 maybe today. Just a little bit cooler. We've seen a couple balls go out there in that right center field gap. This one looked like it was head there. They were shading him just a little bit. Adele was towards that gap. And good concentration here in a ballpark that he hasn't played a whole lot of games in, to go out there and be familiar with where that wall is. And Walsh appreciates it.
There's Waller with the bases empty, 2 down. Big swing and a miss. And a real good chance that this playoff roster in a week and a half will include 3 native Minnesotans. Pagan getting loose. Nothing's official, but there's a chance that Varland, Wallner, and Thielbar will all be on the postseason roster. Inside 1 and 2.
It's incredible. I think, asking some player development people around here, the challenge of being in a cold weather state, a shorter season, you're not playing basically year round like you are in Florida or Texas or California or wherever it is. And I think the ability to use the TrackMan, to use all the indoor facilities to refine your game still over the winter when you don't have, being able to play outdoors like you can in some other places, and seeing more, feels like more guys coming from the Midwest and coming from these cold weather states of being able to go out there and maybe not have as many game reps, but still be able to go out there and work on things in the winter time to get here to the big leagues.
I think it's a plus for you know, guys up in the Midwest and cold weather states, you know, they don't get worn out playing a lot of games. Like the kids from Texas, California, Georgia, you know, Mississippi, Louisiana, all those southern states, those kids get worn out. We didn't get worn out. We were able to play multiple sports, and that was our way of being able to break up, you know, just specializing in one sport. Just,
I think there's a little more projectability too, right? Like you play 1,000 games until by the time you're 18, as opposed to playing 500. There's still room to get better. There's still a lot more room to grow. You don't really know what the ceiling is for some of those guys.
Outside, Wallner having a long battle again. It's a full count.
I mean, you look at Wallner, his tools, right? He's a toolsy guy. He was a closer in college. Got tremendous arm from the outfield, ton of power, but he still has room to get better, and he's at the big league level, and you don't really know what his ceiling is going to be.
Just wide of the bag.
Ooh, Wallner thought that one was fair. A little Cuzzy down there. Didn't agree.
Got to the base and to the first base umpire so quickly. Wallner looking down the line thought it cleared over the bag.
As a hitter, are you able to see that fast with your head snapping?
It's fair every time.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Justin.
Another 3-2 bounced foul.
No, you can. The pull side is a little easier because you're following that ball as a left-handed hitter. The opposite way, it's you know, usually got some tail on it coming off your bat, but you don't see Wallner show emotion too often. But he wanted that one.
4 2-strike fouls and a full count. 5. Another 3-2. Finally got him on strikes. A 1-2-3-6 for Herget. Wallner with a glance up the first baseline, and it's still 1-0.
Covering a full night of baseball is a team effort. From the first pitch,
Let's go to the ballpark.
to live look-ins and post-game reactions.
Tell us how this one feels.
That's how this team covers every team on MLB Tonight.
MLB Tonight, the ultimate late-night baseball party.
Oh, man.
With live look-ins to the night's biggest moments.
How hot was that?
That's money.
What?
The best interviews.
I've never asked a player, do you need a blanket? It is kind of cold out there.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best former players fresh off the field.
Get your hands up.
There's nothing quite like MLB Tonight.
This is going to be a big deal tonight.
This one takes the cake.
That is awesome.
MLB Tonight, late nights on MLB Network.
You wanted more speed? We've got you covered. More action? More runs? Oh, yeah. More leather? Coming right up. Pound for pound, this is the best baseball you've ever seen.
Think baseball.
There's something that's been missing in the debate.
Think analysis.
He really looked like the perfect thing to add to this club last night.
Think advanced metrics.
The new rules are having an impact, and I'll bottom line it.
Think MLB Now, the show for the thinking fan, only on MLB Network.
Quality start last night for Pablo Lopez. Quality start today. Sonny Gray, just 1 run allowed on the Adele home run. Old National Bank, it never gets old. It's been the story of this season. Consistent, reliable starting pitching. Something the Twins haven't, the likes of which Twins haven't had for a long time.
I think the only thing maybe getting old is not scoring runs when Sonny's out there. But and the challenge, he's done his part. Majority of the time he's taken that hill. He's kept them under 3 and kept his team in the ballgame, giving them a chance. And no offense yet for the Twins. Hopefully some of those no decisions he's got where he's left the game with the lead, hopefully they can give him a no decision in this one, and somebody in the bullpen ends up getting a W. Maybe it'll be Emilio Pagan, who's coming in and throwing the ball very well. Great bounce back year, weapon out of that bullpen. Shadows starting to creep in, sun trying to come out. Might be a little difficult time as a hitter coming up.
Yeah, Eli's pitched on the 19th in Cincinnati, 1 inning, 2 strikeouts, no hits. Featured a 4-seam fastball. We'll use that cutter in one of his best pitches this year, and a split finger fastball.
1-0 from Pagan. The Twins' fortress of hard-throwing relievers might be augmented if Brock Stewart comes back. Jorge Alcala in the clubhouse today. He's trying to work his way back from season-long injuries.
Well, that's part of the guys in the clubhouse are talking about this, of trying to catch that second seed, and Twins would need a lot of help. It'd be very difficult to get there, but still something to shoot for if you get there. All those guys who are coming back, maybe it gives Correa a couple extra days off that foot. Maybe it gives, you know, Royce Lewis a little more time to get that hammy right. And the guys who are dealing with those bumps and bruises, if you get that bye, then all of a sudden you add 3-4 more days of healing, of recovery time there for those guys. Maybe you go into the playoffs a little closer to full strength. I know it's a long shot, but there is still something that these guys are talking about playing for.
Well, that would start today. Now that they've clinched a division title, the challenge ahead would be to have the second best division record among the champions. And there is an outside chance that they could catch whoever the West winner is. And Kyle Farmer was talking about it being Houston. Well, right now, the Rangers are leading the West. And that will change perhaps almost daily. Remembering that the Twins have the tiebreaker with the Rangers, and they own the tiebreaker with Houston, but not Seattle.
It's a fastball right down Broadway. Able to blow Eduardo Escobar away.
And now Stefanik. And then there's the delicate balance. I mean, there's a list of players that are trying to get healthy enough to come back and be considered for the playoff roster. Stewart, Alcala, Buxton. But for every player you add, you have to take someone away from the roster, and you're at the most critical point. I mean, just look what we saw last night. A band of brothers, right? They're all arm in arm, just having a great time together. But who do you take off? And what's the impact on the clubhouse if you take someone off the roster to accommodate the presence of someone else? It's different than it was just a few years ago, when you could flood the clubhouse with these players rehabbing, because you could have as many as 40 players on your September roster.
I'm glad that we don't have to make that decision, is the first thing I'll say.
Right.
It's not an enviable spot to be, but it's a better spot than when we were running through September last year of trying to find enough, you know, bodies to take the field healthy. So it's a good problem to have, and hopefully all those guys are getting close to working their way back and being part of this. But there's going to be some tough decisions, and you know, we talked about this yesterday, LaTroy. We had a pitcher who was left off the playoff roster in the first round and decided to leave the team because he took it as a slight, even though there was less pitchers needed for the first round.
Good inning for Pagan, a couple of strikeouts and 10 pitches thrown.
Sunday, on the next episode of MLB's Carded, join Greg Amsinger for a look at all things cardboard, from vintage to modern. We've got it covered. MLB's Carded, Sunday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network. This is Mookie Betts. This is Christopher Russo. And this is the High Heat Hot Seat. Mookie Betts plays hard, so he doesn't end up here. High Heat with Christopher Russo, helping players play harder on MLB Network.
Rated E for everyone.
to the Angels. Top of the fourth, Joe Adell leading things off with a first pitch home run. That's just the 8th home run allowed by Sonny Gray here this season. It was the first run of the game, and right now it's the only run of the game because the Angels pitchers have been getting the job done. The Twins having 5 hits on the board, a couple of walks, but they've struck out 7 times, waiting for that big hit that we have seen so often this season. We'll see if they have another one up their sleeve here this afternoon, guys.
A lot of smiles around Target Field. Good to see the youngsters enjoying what's been a very entertaining baseball team this year, particularly in the second half.
Well, they got their work cut out for them a little bit here with Joyce coming in the game. Very hard thrower. Over 100 miles an hour with that fastball. Good extension. That ball's going to get on you.
Just drafted last year in the 3rd round out of the University of Tennessee.
With a little funky arm angle as well. It's amazing that's a 3rd round pick now. 100's just par for the course. It's like, oh yeah. I mean, 25 years ago, there'd be a legend of the guy who throws 100 going first overall. And now it's just another reliever.
101. Looked like Vasquez was right on time.
That's got to be an uncomfortable at bat for a right-handed hitter.
Breaking ball tapped to 3rd. Head high hop. Escobar across, 1 away. And that'll bring up Larney. Kirilov's in the on-deck circle. He may hit for Luplo.
Yeah, there's no point now with the 3-batter minimum of trying to hide your move from the on-deck circle. Let him go out there, get loose, get him ready, get his timing, and it's that move I think they were anticipating maybe happening later in the ball game.
High fly, left field, retreating. Richard still going back, but on the track, makes the catch for round number 2. 2 away, and Kirilov will hit. Sports can't teach kids teamwork, perseverance, patience, and even failure. Learn how you can help coach and support youth at twinscommunityfund.org. One area of tremendous improvement over the course of this season. The Twins getting production off the bench in some key spots. So Kirilov off the bench. Takes ball 1. Josh Winder getting loose in the Twins pen. And Rocco Baldelli admitting that there will be changes in how games are managed now that the Twins have clinched. And Winder coming into a 1-0 ball game in the 8th inning might be first evidence of that. A sky-high fly ball to left. And Grichuk makes the catch in fair territory. 7 pitches for Joyce in a quick 1-2-3 inning.
Games and coverage all day, every day, your way on MLB Network.
Rated E for everyone.
Think baseball.
There's something that's been missing in the debate.
Think analysis.
He really looked like the perfect thing to add to this club last night.
Think advanced metrics.
The new rules are having an impact, and I'll bottom line it.
Think MLB Now, the show for the thinking fan, only on MLB Network.
I'ma do what? That's on me.
Watch games and coverage all day, every day, your way on MLB Network.
In 1987, the Homer Hanky was born, and it helped bring the magic to the Twin Cities. In 91, the magic was back, and with it, the glory of another championship. Now, in 2023, the Hanky returns as your American League Central Division champion Minnesota Twins look to recreate some fall magic. Anything is possible in baseball. We believe.
And the caps and T-shirts that everyone was wearing last night also available there. Can I tell you a story about the original Homer Hanky in '87?
Yep.
Okay. So they were wondering, the Star Tribune and the Twins were wondering whether this thing was going to take off. I happened to be in the Twins offices, and a broadcast executive gave me the prototype and said, well, what do you think? And I said, I don't think Minnesotans would go for something like that. And he said, well, here, just take this. I don't think it's going to happen. You can go ahead and have it. So I had it, and then the Homer Hanky took off. I tied it to the aerial of my truck antenna and would drive around town with it. And I drove down to the big rally they had after the Twins beat the Tigers in the playoffs, 60,000 people there. And I had the Homer Hanky tied to my antenna in my truck. And somebody cut the Homer Hanky off my antenna. I had the very first Homer Hanky ever. And now somebody else has the first, or what's left of, the first Homer Hanky ever with a corner missing.
Well, that sounds like the young guy back in the day who had the Babe Ruth cards and they put them in their fender and their bikes both just, you put it on your truck.
Well, yeah, but
you think that it still exists today?
I don't know. Somebody probably threw it away, but it was the very first Homer Hanky, the prototype in 1987.
Did it have anything on it, or was it just plain white?
No, it was like there was printing on it, like there is.
Okay. So somebody knew what it was. It wasn't just.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Fly ball right field, retreating, twisting around, and making the play in right field is Waller. Now, it had more sentimental value than financial value, but you know, the financial hit I've taken with hundreds of hours of therapy to try to recover from it, not insignificant. One down in the 8th inning.
Well, hopefully whoever took it feels really guilty hearing that story right now.
I hope they're watching right now.
A lifetime worth of guilt. But we're in the 8th inning here. I better remember to wish my daughter a happy birthday. Hard to believe I'm the father of a teenager, 13 today.
Wow.
Oh, time flies. Happy birthday, Evie. Yep. Getting old.
She is, or you?
Both of us.
Okay.
Thankfully.
1-1 to.
Keep saying good morning, Mr. Morneau. Keep saying good morning.
Eventually I'll catch up to you.
Yes. And Dick.
1-2 to Shanuel. Soriano getting loose for the bottom of the 8th. Farmer backhand, sets, fires. Safe at first is the call. Twins will take a look at it. It's good play by Farmer and an on-target throw to Kirilov.
And we're in the 8th inning. He's got that 25-game on-base streak going to start his career. Still got a ways to go to catch 47, which is the all-time record, but Farmer making that athletic play.
Twins won't challenge it, and it is an infield hit.
26 straight games now to start a career. It's impressive.
Oh, he was safe. He touched the middle of the bag.
Close, almost to the back of the glove. Bang, bang. You can see Kirilov able to stretch out that 6'2" frame and make that play close.
Yeah, I think if he's called out, I'm not sure if they challenge it if it gets reversed. If he's called safe, if you challenge it, I don't think, it's such a close play. We've seen those. Is it in the back of the glove? Is it an inch from the back of the glove? And evidence to overturn it.
Wave and a miss 0-2. So Winder getting the 8th inning. Kind of a long relief role for Josh.
Disappearing slider from Winder.
To the gap, Stevenson hustling, and he won't be able to get there. One hops the wall. And they're going to wave him around. Here's Farmer's throw to the plate.
Out.
Got him! A perfect one-hop throw from Kyle Farmer. Farmer throwing a strike to cut down the run at the plate.
He can do a lot of things to help you win a ball game. And we see this from Carlos Correa a lot. Tremendous arm out there. Good footwork in that relay man. And Stevenson does a good job of getting this before it hits the ground, taking time away, and then one hop feed. Great exchange. Good strong throw. And then the tag at the end of it, all around. Just a tremendous play.
Yeah, that doesn't happen if Stevenson overthrows a cutoff man. So that was textbook, the way you practice it every day. And just a strong throw from Farmer.
And, you know, catchers have such a tough task on plays like that because they have to, I mean, the throw was up the line just a little bit, but Vasquez can't block the sliding path before he has the ball. So he had to one-hand that catch. And then there's the matter of the catcher's mask, wearing a catcher's mask on the bars in front of you trying to field that hop.
Shanuel going around second base, he wasn't going hard. It's like he was already telling himself he was going to stop at third base. And once he had to get back on his horse, they gave the Twins the opportunity to throw him out at home.
So a single, a double, with 2 outs, runner at third. 1-1 to Grichuk. I've often wondered this, and Justin, you're the only one that has any professional catching experience. Will we see catchers take the mask off like they do for foul pops now that there's the no collision rules?
Yeah, I think it's a personal preference, I feel like, but yes, the bars as you look down can get in the way trying to pick up those hops.
To left, and there to make the catch is Larnach. A scoreless 8th for Josh Winder.
Sure, you'll teach her to drive a car. Then use Greenlight and teach her to save up for her own car. Mowing lawns and getting paid. Navigate the world of earning, saving, and investing together. Invest in your best investment. Greenlight.
Jumpstart dinner with Home Chef's microwavable meals. It's time to get dinner ready faster. With Home Chef's fast and fresh meals, there's no prep and no mess. They're faster, fresher, and tastier. Get dinner done in 3, 2, 1. It's time to set the table. Delicious meat simple. Get 18 free meals at homechef.com.
Welcome to the Aura Sleep Lab. You need a bit more deep sleep. Getting enough high-quality sleep increases immunity. Why? Because sleep helps fend off sickness. A good night's sleep boosts your number of infection-fighting antibodies and cells. And with your Aura Ring, you can learn how to sleep deep and keep your immunity up. It's like having a sleep lab on your finger. Go to sleep with auraring.com.
Lottery while you still have time. Say I'm in and scan the QR code for a chance to join the Minnesota Lottery's Winner's Circle and win $50 in scratch tickets. Still a 1-0 ball game. Everybody did things right on that relay play, and that's what led to the Angels not scoring in the top half of the 8th inning.
Yeah, they did everything right, including Drury, who hit the ball as the trail runner, but not sure if he was giving it everything he had. He was looking back, not sure if he got held up near second base, seeing if Stevenson was going to actually catch that ball. We've seen a couple balls die in that gap. in today's game. But perfect throw. Hit the cutoff man. Great exchange. Perfect throw to home plate.
I like the bear got on his back going around second base.
I know that feeling. My dad used to say to me, get the piano off your back when you're running.
Angels' new pitcher, Jose Soriano. Last pitch on the 20th against Tampa. 2 innings, a hit, a ball, base on ball, 1 strikeout.
See the drastic reverse splits. And it'll be a lefty Stevenson to lead things off. Swing and a miss.
A good slider, fastball. We'll throw occasional changeup.
Well, Twins only have 1 at-bat with runners in scoring position. They need to get something going here. This good crowd, bigger crowd than they had last night. Waiting for something to happen.
Half swing and strike 2.
31,403.
So far 5 singles. They took a couple of walks, but those were back in the first inning. Left the bases full in the first. 2 strikes. Stevenson on 3 goes back to the dugout, 1 away. The MLB Ballpark app is a must for the fan who wants to stay informed and connected with their favorite team. Buy and manage game tickets, redeem offers, and access exclusive content, much more. So download the MLB Ballpark app today.
Ouch.
'98.
That hurt.
That ball just kept following him. He was trying to get out of the way. It just kept running after him.
A lot of arm slide run from Soriano. You can see Solano just
got him in the ribs, maybe.
Fell back like it paralyzed him.
Trainer Masa Abe and Rocco Baldelli helping him up.
See that thing run? Look at that, how much that thing's moving. Yeah, that was rib. Flat rib. Hopefully got a little meat, but
so far back, it looked like he hit him in a 3 and it's 39.
That sounded like it hit the pad, and there is no pad there.
Well, I wonder if it didn't partially hit off the tricep area where there is some pad.
Yeah.
At any rate, you worry about hit by pitches, and Solano seems to have survived that one with some pain but no injury.
He fell like he was wiltering.
Oh yeah, funny for the pitcher.
Here's Julian 0 for 2 with a walk. Ball 1.
So easy 98.
Yeah.
Like he's just playing catch with him.
And he threw good breaking balls in Stevenson's at bat. Sharp break to it.
Sharply hit. Fletcher with another nice stop. Backhanded flip. What a double play. Wow.
Kidding me?
That was unreal.
A tremendous play by Fletcher. The catch was incredible enough, but then a backhanded flip perfectly timed to Stefanik, and the inning ends.
Look at this. The feed. You get the first out on this play, you're happy. Another barehanded feed.
And Stefanik threw a grenade over there.
We love going to games, but good seats get pricey. So we use Game Time. Game Time checks ticket prices in real time and finds you all the best last-minute deals. We got our seats 20 minutes ago for 60% off. Last-minute tickets at the best price in seconds. Download Game Time now.
Let's talk about sex. As you get a little older, things tend to work a little differently.
I felt shame, embarrassment, guilt.
Like something had been knocked out from underneath me. What HIMS does is says, hey, look, don't worry about it. We got this part covered. 100% online.
The whole process was very discreet.
It made me feel like I'm a rock star.
This product has changed my life.
When it kicked in, I said, yeah, I'm back. I remember this feeling.
Get started today at 4hims.com.
They said optical shops weren't very inviting. So we, Warby Parker, created ones that were. They said prescription eyewear was too expensive, so we offered more affordable glasses, contacts, and eye exams. They said opticians weren't always friendly. So we hired only the friendliest and the most knowledgeable. And finally, they said the whole experience was just kind of unpleasant. So we set out to change that too. Visit a Warby Parker store and see for yourself.
Top of the ninth here at Target Field. Angels leading the Twins 1-0. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and accounts of this description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Minnesota Twins LLC.
Well, this is nearing the end of your broadcasting schedule. You'll be with us again tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Good. You can do that tomorrow, too.
No problem. Morno.
What a show David Fletcher's put on today. Out in the field, the Angels have a really good young shortstop, Zach Neto. They consider him to be the shortstop of the future. But David Fletcher's been outstanding in the field. And Walsh has retired one away.
This play by Julian here, picking up a short hop. This is like that drill we were talking about. What they do, short hop, long hop. You're just trying to give yourself the short one before it takes that bounce and eats you up on the heel of your glove, or the long hop and give yourself time. And this comes with confidence. You see him go get it, and you see him come through that ball, almost like a first baseman picking that ball. And I think it takes confidence as a fielder to field the ball aggressively like that. The easy thing to do, or the seemingly easy thing, is just sit back and wait for the ball to come to you. But that's a lot of times when you see guys get eaten up by that late hop. And man, he's improved so much in his time in the big leagues. He's only going to continue to get better, I think.
But it wasn't that long ago when infielders were told on a ground ball like that, your first order of business is get in front of it. Try to field it, certainly, but get in front of it. So you've got, you know, a leg on either side of the position in case there's a bobble, and you might be able to pick it up and make the play.
Not that I tend to overthink things, but I've been thinking about this since we had this. You know me a long time. Since we had this conversation yesterday, I've been thinking about how I said I one-handed. Gardy wanted me to field with one hand. I was a lot more free with one hand. I could use one hand. I was more athletic. I wasn't rigid. And I went back to thinking of when it was two hands. And obviously this is a long time ago, but when, number one, when you shared gloves, you left them on the field, you ran off the other end.
Come on, I'm not that old.
No, I'm just saying that this is kind of where that whole thing started, though, was you had a flat glove that either didn't bend and you had to use two hands because otherwise you weren't closing the glove. And I think it just continued on from there. But I watched Nolan Arenado field, and he's a one-handed fielder. And he's the best I've ever seen taking ground balls. He's the best defensive infielder I have ever seen, and he's a one-handed player. And I think it just has freedom in movement. There are the routine ones that you catch with two hands, but for me, most of the time, it's a one-handed play to be athletic.
Driven foul. Now, do you want to hear my theory?
Yes.
Okay. Infield maintenance is so much better than it used to be. And the reason I was told, well, this is at the high school level where the fields were not dragged, okay? But in case you got a bad hop, you were in position to knock the ball down with your chest, pick it up, still get the out. When's the last time you saw a bad hop on a major league infield?
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often.
It doesn't happen very often.
But that's also because of the footwork of the player. They don't let themselves get into positions to take bad hops either, right? Julian can play that ball in between. You see a kid in A-ball make that play, and they'll get eaten up because they're not sure if they should go get it or stay back, and that's when you get eaten up. So a lot of it is 100%. The fields are phenomenal at the big league level, but it's also the players understand how to read hops. You've taken, you've had all those reps, that learning that happens at the minor league level, and then you get up here and you're still working on it, you're still refining it, but your goal is to not get yourself caught in between. And I think these guys are so good now at reading hops and getting themselves in a spot to get that long hop and the short hop.
I think it helps when you're more aggressive towards the ball as opposed to waiting back, waiting for the ball to maybe take a bad hop. You get into the ball. You've been aggressive towards the ball.
All I'm saying is if you tried to field it one-handed on the field they had in Crosby, Ironton, Minnesota, in high school, your fielding percentage would be about 25%.
But it's also, I remember when I first came up, I believe they only dragged the field like in the 6th or the 7th inning.
Right.
So there was all that traffic that would happen around the bases, and that's when where a lot of the bad hops come from. Was at least at first base, I remember whether on picks or whatever it was, you'd have all the, the divots, the little craters from all the guys running past first base. Now they drag that thing twice a game, and the dirt seems to play pretty true throughout most of the game. So unless you have 2 long innings in a row in between the time they actually rake the field, you're right. There's very few bad hops now that happen in today's game.
But if you look at the infielders, at some point during the inning, you're going to see them cleaning up their workspace to make sure they don't get those bad hops.
And that one will bleed through into the outfield. Adele will hold up at second base. And the Angels have another threat here, trying to expand the 1-0 lead. Stefanik will hit with 2 men aboard. Winder's given up 3 hits and a walk to the 7 men that he's faced.
Yeah, I think there's a time to field the ball with 2 hands, but I think there's the majority of the time.
Pete Mackey to the mound. But now last night though we were talking about pop-ups with 2 hands.
And pop-up, but even then I was a one-handed fielder.
Okay.
Here we'll do this. I'll do this test for you now. All right, so it's put one hand up and try and move around like you're going to do it. Now put both hands up and see how more rigid you are, how less movement you have. So if that ball does something unexpected, you're trying to track it with 2 hands. You move slower. You don't have the ability to adjust on the fly as well. So when it's one hand, it's so much easier to adjust to that ball. If it does something, a big league pop-up is going to be spinning. It's going to be moving as it's coming down, and it's not going to land where you think it's going to land. You have to be able to adjust. And for me, at least personally, Gardy, spring training every morning I was in the cage with him. He was working on the short hops, much like Tony Diaz does in that drill. We were in there and he said, and I was rigid, I was 2 hands and I was clanking balls, and he's going, get your other hand out of there. I want to see you do this with 1 hand. I want to see you get a short hop or get a long hop and use only your glove hand and see how it works. And that's kind of what changed me defensively, is feeling free as I was catching ground balls and not being tied up.
So do you think now are they working smarter, or are they working different than they're doing different things than you were doing as far as fielding ground balls and stuff like that? Are they just working smarter?
I think it's more tailored to each guy and what the weaknesses are and what you want to work on and what you want to stay good at. But I think there's more efficiency in the work. They're conscious of workload, and they're conscious of 162 games and how much time you're on your feet, and how do we get the most out of our time? Can we get done in 15 minutes what we used to do in 45 minutes?
Right. And I think smarter, not harder.
Yeah, and I think they've done a really good job of that.
And Winder wearing out that outside corner in this at bat, trying to get a strikeout of Stefanik. Two and two.
When you're doing that gesture, Morneau, you look like TK. And you start talking to you, throwing both hands in the air like.
Chopper left side. Solano on target. Both runners move up 2 away.
Nice little 2-handed play here by Solano. But see, he's getting himself, his footwork has prepared him to get himself in a position to make that exchange and get rid of that ball. So see that one there, simple hop in a catching position. When he catches that ball, so the way we talk about it is catch that ball, bring it up to your belly button, make the exchange there. That was one of the things Tom Kelly always talked about, is you don't want to make that exchange by your knees. You don't want to make it out front of your body. You want to make it close to your body so you don't have that fumble that you see that lose the ball. And Solano played that one perfectly, and we're going to have a new pitcher.
Dylan Floro will try to strand a couple of Angels in the 9th.
Hey kids, join MLB Network and your favorite players for a show made just for you. Play ball. It's all the big moments, bat flips, and amazing plays from an exciting week of baseball, and tips to up your game on MLB Network.
You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered, packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning-fast hour.
What a play!
We live today, preview tomorrow on Quick Pitch. Late nights and early mornings, only on MLB Network.
See it. He struck him out. It's out of here.
Feel it.
I can't wait for this game to start. He took a home run away.
Live it.
That is as good as it gets. The big plays.
The beauty of sports is when the hero comes through.
Yeah, the tense moments.
We have an update we must show you. Done it again. With live look-ins, highlights, and breakdowns.
That might be what it takes to win. MLB Tonight on MLB Network.
Join your Twins and celebrate local Twin Cities artists on September 26th with the last T-shirt Tuesday of the season. First 5,000 fans through the gates will receive a shirt with classic Twins marks in the style of artist Leah Rose Jackson. Grab your tickets at twins.com/t-shirt. Floral will try to get the final out here, but another look at Fletcher's incredible double play. I'm not sure you will see a better double play in the major leagues this year.
106 off the bat. The fact that he got to it, a backhanded running flip in a perfect spot, a barehanded exchange, find the base, and then, as you said, throw a grenade over there, and then Shinwell at the other end of the play, keeping his foot on the bag. Everyone's smiling except for Fletcher going, what, you're smiling like you didn't expect me to make that play?
I like Fletch because he, the focus, he was able, he tried to lead Stefanik to second base, kind of threw it just behind him, so it shows you what type of athlete Stefanik is.
Trying to keep this a 1-0 game. Ball one.
Floral last pitched on the 19th in Cincinnati. Inning, 2 hits, no runs. And a 4-seam fastball. We'll use the sinker, slider, changeup.
Should be routine. Farmer to Kirilloff. See if the Twins can add a walk-off win to their total on the season in the bottom of the ninth.
You wanted more speed? We've got you covered. More action? More runs? Oh, yeah. More leather coming right up. Pound for pound, this is the best baseball you've ever seen.
Watch games and coverage all day, every day, your way on MLB Network.
A rally cap, several of them, in fact. Only down by 1 run, but What a 1, 2, 3 rally caps there. 4 maybe.
Maybe good for 3 runs.
See if the Twins can come back here. They've done a nice job picking up walk-off wins. Total of 10 of them.
Carlos Estevez, 30 out of 34 save opportunities. See if the Twins can score a couple off Angels closer.
Plus fastball averages about 97. The majority of its strikeouts actually come with that fastball, slider, occasional changeup. Going to give you a fastball to hit, and you go up there aggressive and hit it. Love to see a walk-off win for this good Saturday crowd.
60 innings, 31 base on balls, 5 intentional walks, so he will issue a free pass.
Phillips entered the game as a pinch runner last night. Now he's in for defense, and Farmer takes ball 1. Middle of the Twins lineup, and today that's Farmer, Taylor, and Wallner. Lifted to right, and Adele jogging to the corner. Still jogging, and no play. And a foul ball.
Oh, maybe a little positive omen right there. The wind just kicked up almost. It seemed like when that ball got up in the air, kind of flags coming in from left. And Adele looked like he thought he had this easy, and all of a sudden that last.
He didn't seem too convicted on that ball.
15, 20 feet though, that ball just took off on him. A little misplay on that one to center earlier. Another chance.
1 strike and a ball to Farmer. Twins still have a bench of Polanco, Jeffers, Kepler, and Castro, which isn't to suggest that any of them are going to be used here, especially with the Twins sending their 4, 5, and 6 batters up. 1 and 2 now to Farmer. Of Wallach.
Chip Fairchild giving Wallach a little more time. That one seemed like it squared him up. He's saying I'm okay, but that thing looked like a pretty good bunt rolling out there between the mound and home plate.
Ooh, right off the forehead. 1 and 2.
Ouch.
And Farmer gets smoked. First it was Solano, and now Farmer. And Farmer grimacing, but going to first.
That's a former football player right there wearing that one.
Right in the point of the elbow, or at least that's where he's pointing to.
As 97 just.
Oh,
that's a bad spot. Not been hit there.
Definitely not a good spot.
Greinke got me there. There's certain ones you don't forget. That one right there. Oof. Wait to get the feeling back in your fingers. And hopefully he's all right.
We've been squared up with 98 and 97.
Yeah. Just
ouch.
Running fastballs too. You go back, you try and turn, you get out of the way, but it just keeps following you.
They're picking on our old guys. Solano, now Farmer, smiling about it now. But the tying run's aboard, and Taylor comes to the plate as the winning run.
We'd love to see a walk-off home run right here by Mr. Michael A. Taylor.
Big swing and a miss. Near the inside edge, and Taylor trying to send us all home with that swing.
This one had a little more run to it. See it take off late.
And Taylor will take his timeout.
Can't think of an 0-2 count or a 2-strike count where he hasn't taken his timeout. He does a nice job of trying to compose himself to.
One thing I've noticed about the Twins during this last road trip, they get the 2-strike, they're going to slow the game down and take their time.
Big pop-up on the right field line, and the wind pushing that ball just out of play. We talked about how fortunate the Twins have been weather-wise this year. Here in this 9th inning, the weather's helped keep a couple of at-bats alive.
So they're going to walk it off. They need to do it soon because there is weather coming.
Yeah, looks like that rain is coming in fast.
Yeah, send him home happy.
2 strikes to Taylor.
Good take. That's an adjustment. That's an at-bat adjustment right there. That's the one he swung at. 97 that was kind of chasing the inside corner.
Center cut. Oh, straight back. One away, and that'll bring up Wallner.
The old overhanging slider. Backed it up above the zone. You see spin coming out, and you wait for that thing to come down.
Little cement mixer.
Yep.
Here is Wallner. Has one of the 10 walk-off hits, a home run back on August 6th. And I told him yesterday that was the highlight of the season for me, only because he did what thousands of Minnesota kids always dreamt of doing, walking off with a win for his hometown team. And he's got a chance to do it again here this afternoon. One and one to Wallner. Ooh. 1-2.
It's an at-bat you can't miss, because there's a chance every time he swings that this ball could go 475 feet. That looks like that's about how far he was trying to hit that one. You got to do is get the barrel to it.
And he's gone on strikes. 2 down. And that'll bring Vasquez to the plate. And if you are wondering what we talked about before, whether games are going to be managed differently now that the Twins have clinched, the decision was made. The veterans, Polanco, Kepler, Castro, and his catcher Jeffers are going to get the day off today.
Yeah, guys been around for a little bit, get them off their feet, and there's something about being told, hey, I'm not going to use you unless something really bad happens. You kind of get in that mental space of getting a little day.
Vasquez takes strike one. A couple of singles for Vasquez. In terms of hits, that's all the Twins have managed. 5 singles. A couple of walks, a couple of hit batters. That's been it. 1-1.
He definitely has that cement mixer backup slider that kind of
more for effect to get you off the fastball, it seems like, than anything. I think I'm selling out the fastball here. Breaking ball, breaking ball.
A high fly to left. Grichuk near the line ends it. The Twins get shut out on the day after they celebrated an American League Central Championship.
A well-pitched ball game today by Sonny. Just made one mistake and just a letdown game from last night after clinching. But good thing is you get a chance to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, Sonny, tough luck loss in this one. Did a tremendous job going out there doing his job. Unfortunately, couldn't take advantage of the bases loaded in the first inning, and Angels pitching came out, settled in, got themselves a win. Hopefully you get a little bounce back tomorrow and get back in the habit of winning series and winning the ball game.
A Twins Live postgame show will come your way next.